Dan, what's up? It's Young Jock Sports Podcast. How do you guys like that new intro? There's a little quick hitter I put together. You know, it's nice and neat, eh? Simple.
Absolutely. There you go. Looking more and more professional.
Yeah, that's it, eh? And we're trying to do it. You know, maybe one day we'll do a pre-recorded and then edit it down and then release it. Who knows, eh?
Look out, Sports Center, right?
Yeah, we're coming for you. Come for your jobs. Yeah, man. So this is a sports cast. We obviously talk about everything sports. Doesn't matter if it's your favorite sports movie, your favorite sports team, transfers, trade deadline, NFL,
Food.
Super Bowl. Yeah, food. Doesn't matter. What's the best food, you know? But yeah, I guess we'll get into it because it's a big week in the EPL and in soccer all over the world. Actually, it's transfer deadline day.
Yep. So
What's that noise?
What?
I
Yeah.
can hear-
Well, that's exactly it. You know, as far as that goes, there's, like I said to you last week, transfer deadline. You know what? I'm honestly surprised how quiet it's been. I really thought there'd be a lot of moving going on. And besides the moves that everyone knew, we touched base on a few of them last week, with like Dustin going to a juvie.
Yeah.
And, Arthur Mello staying put and everything like that. The moves that we knew were going to be stretches for not only Arsenal, but other teams to kind of make something happen. Nothing's happening. And at least huge, like the big signing has not happened. I think that was back when Ronaldo signed back in fall last year and went with Man U, right?
I think it's been quiet. Like if you're an Arsenal fan, I think it's been extremely quiet, except for it's been weird because we got rid of Callum Chambers to Aston Villa. But we've also just stopped playing the North London Derby because we had short players. So we got rid of a bunch of players, but we didn't pick anybody up.
No, exactly, and that's the frustrating part on Arsenal's front. I find is like you said, we're counting 24 hours and less, and it's like Arteta's content to just stay put, and is basically pushing. He's like, I'll give you the money or I'll help you, financially. To bring in somebody on a contract of some sort, but you got to make a move. And Arteta's just like, no, I'm fine with whatever.
Let's just say this: Aubameyang reportedly turned down a move to Saudi Arabia because
he's going
to Barcelona. So it's like, when he goes to Barcelona, I get it. He's out of form. People might not like him right now, but he's literally our only other striker. Like we have Eddie Nketiah, but Eddie Nketiah is not not good enough for Arsenal.
No, not as every match like a starting lineup. No, like you don't put him. You compare those two, and absolutely, there's no comparison.
Yeah, and like even Lacazette, I like Lacazette. Good guy, probably a good family guy. Who knows, right? But the guy, is he Arsenal quality? I think he's a career backup striker.
That's what I'm going to say. Off the bench, come in for, last 25 minutes, 20 minutes, and, spring him and hope to God, you tie or win a game. Yeah, absolutely. That's where he is. He's not a 90-minute kind of guy. Yeah,
but Callum Chambers, he's been okay. But then again, he needed to go because he needed playing time. I get why he left. And then again, sometimes he was like that guy that was spotty. Like he was good one game and shit the next game. Yeah, I think it's a good call getting rid of him.
That was kind of like what I said with you, like with Ben White, right? Like we brought him in this year, and that's how everyone viewed Ben White at the beginning of the season. He just kind of filled the spot and looked out of place, but he's kind of improved his play now that he's definitely an upgrade from what we had last year.
Yeah, he's definitely like our defense altogether is like the best part of our team almost, except for Saka.
Right now.
Yeah, and Matt Martinelli. But let's move on to Everton. So Everton signed Frank Lampard, and not only did they sign Frank Lampard signed Donny van de Beek from Manchester United.
Yep.
So, and that guy, Donny van de Beek, is supposed to be like, he was a world-class player before he went to Manchester United, and he just never got the chance to play.
Right.
So, yeah, I guess he fell out of favor. Maybe he doesn't train hard. Maybe he's one of those players that doesn't train hard, but just play on the field. You know how some people like Iverson practice. We talking about practice? But,
Well, yeah, and you know what? As far as Lampard taking over Everton, it was basically down to him or Rooney, and with Rooney saying no, I decided I'm going to stay with Derby. I signed a contract to
yeah.
X amount of dollars, X amount of years. I'm going to see this through. I get it. A lot of people, will say, that shows his commitment to a team, to a league. But you know what? To me, it also could backfire on you and be like, okay, this guy's not serious of ever wanting to coach at, the top tier. Like you can talk about, any other league out there besides the English Premier, but you can't say that no player, no coach wants to one day be either on a team or coaching a team from the EPL. And you know what? Unless Man U comes knocking, I don't see anyone taking Rooney serious again for a spot.
Yeah, well,
let's just say Arsenal fires Arteta. I don't want Rooney with us.
No, no way. I don't want Rooney. I think Rooney deep down knows that he's not ready
to be coaching.
To be coach a big boy team. I just don't think so. I think there's a lot of pressure with it, and maybe it's a smart move by him because he knows he's not ready, so he wants to take his time. Because if he goes now, he'll get embarrassed, and his whole career could go out the window.
Exactly. So that brings up the point with with Lampard here. How much of a leash does he get? After the whole issue, the whole Chelsea debacle. I don't think he ever really had a fair shot with that team. It was
I thought he was good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I thought he was not a top 4 team coach.
No.
But I don't think he took that team into the ground either.
No, I thought he did good. I thought he didn't get a fair shake. I thought if they would have went with him, I think they still would have been in the same position they are now. And that's what I think, But but I think Everton, they have like a quietly good team. Like they have a team that can perform. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So if they have maybe the right manager, like Lampard could be it. It could be big things for him.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the thing is with Lampard. I think the idea about bringing him in is, Everton will start to go kind of like with Arteta, start to bring in the young guns, but you have a veteran coach or leadership there in that kind of managerial role where, he can still relate to the players, but they still look up to him and be like, okay, he knows what he's talking about. It may not be, let's just kick the ball down the field and hope to God, we bring someone, but, he knows how to run a system that Everton wants to play.
Yeah, Everton has a great team. They should be able to do good things under Frank. But let's move on. So last week, I mentioned the guy from River Plate, Julian Alvarez. Manchester United were trying to get him, but City actually scooped him. So he just finalized the deal today. So that's pretty crazy,
Right, exactly. And you know what? I don't. I'm not too good with this whole topic here, and the only reason being, as far as following every single thing that went on this week, transfers and everything, right? I think, as far as like you said, as far as us missing out, right?
Yeah.
I look back to this whole past week of the what ifs, the could haves, the so forth. Absolutely, would he have been great to get a chance to get a player of his caliber?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
But it almost becomes a where do we want our money spent?
Yeah.
Do you want to spend that kind of money
on
a player that could be great? Or would you rather spend that money on a superstar? Not that he's not. Like, don't get me wrong. That I'm not saying that he'd be a bust.
Yeah.
But do you want to go more all in?
If he's going to City, I'm pretty sure Pep Guardiola's
Well,
Yeah,
that's what I mean, right? Like some teams are going to view him
yeah,
more valuable as others. Us, I rather see him go to Man City, and for us, I rather get a player or two players or three players for the kind of
yeah,
money that he'll command, right?
yeah. And so Liverpool actually signed Luis Diaz. Don't know
Mm-hmm.
much about this guy, but he went for like 50 million or something crazy.
Well,
And
Luis
Juventus,
Diaz.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say Luis Diaz. I don't know. I think he came from Porto, so the
Yes, yeah.
Portuguese league. I don't watch the Portuguese league too much, but yeah,
Well, he's always seen up there, at least, for the Portuguese, like you said, with Porto and everything. He is, I
yeah,
guess he's same idea. I don't follow the Portuguese leagues too much, but
yeah,
from what I have heard and seen, he's one of the elite defensemen out there,
yeah, and
and
yeah, and
it's just,
yeah,
go,
it's pretty.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah. No, yeah, it's I mean, it's Liverpool. So if Liverpool got them, I mean, he's gonna be
Right.
good. Yeah,
Well, the only thing with Liverpool is they have just as many bad signings as they do good signings. I find, like, for every
uh,
one or two good signings you have with them,
uh,
they're just as bad as picking a bum off the streets or being like, this is
yeah,
our
but they're
huge signing. Like the last big player really that they brought on was what, Salah?
yeah, but Salah. Remember, he was a reject from Chelsea, and they turned him into a superstar.
That's what I mean. So you get a big name
Sadio,
like that, but then
but
you could get
Sadio Mane and Virgil van Dijk were both from average players in Southampton, and now
yep.
look at them.
Well,
Same with
look at it.
Robertson and everything.
Look at even if you want to even go a little bit further back, look at with us. Like we gave Giroud the boot, and he goes over to in Chelsea.
It wins.
It wins.
It wins. That's what happens. That's life at Arsenal, though. So Juventus actually gave up Rodrigo Bentancur to Tottenham. So Tottenham are rivals across the North London derby. They picked up. So they got rid of Tanguy Ndembele to Olympic Lyonnais, and they picked up Rodrigo Bentancur, and they also picked up Kulusevski. So they're actually doing quite some damage in the transfer market, and that's the only thing I fear as an Arsenal fan is like all our rivals that are rivaling us for that top 4 position have all made moves while we just got rid of players and did nothing.
Right,
So
and it is concerning, absolutely. But it's like I said to you earlier, again before we were on here, or even this morning when we were talking a bit. I think the two it either goes one or two ways. If we do make a move in the next, I'll even close the gap a little bit more. I'll say if we're making a move in the next 12 hours, it's going to be for Isaac. That is who we just seem to be linked to as Isaac. It's like we talked about since last week, with Renato Sanchez. I don't know about you. I haven't heard anything about that since last week, about Sanchez coming here.
Well, since you're speaking about Renato Sanchez, he actually is going to Milan.
so like you said, here we go. Let's sit on the bench and watch everyone's players go elsewhere, and Arsenal does nothing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like all the players that we just been linked to. I don't understand why we wait till the last 5 hours to sign a player when we had weeks to do it.
So the question is are the players rejecting us because of Arteta? Maybe. I don't want to play for Arteta. I want to play for Arsenal because Sanchez said, I want to play for Arsenal. I want to play for Arsenal. But what is it?
I think what happened was they made it clear that they went for Dusan Vlahovic. And so when they went for him, all the other guys were like, well, like Renato Sanchez, well, you going for him? Okay. They put all their eggs in the basket and they got burned. That's what happens sometimes, And the only guy that's left is, I would say, Everton, but since Frank Lampard's there, he might not want to sell Calvert-Lewin now.
That's the other name I was going to say is, if it's not Isaac at the trade line, in like the window, then absolutely.
I would go for Jonathan David if I was him, because I'm sure it wouldn't be too expensive, and it'd be it's an experiment, I guess. I don't know if he can cut it, but Renato Sanchez, another guy. Dusan Vlahovic is gone.
Yep.
Bruno Guimaraes, he's gone to Newcastle, and that's another Arsenal target. So,
Well,
and
yes.
yeah. So it's like all these targets that they had or did have. The only guy they get now, they have Bernd Leno, they have Ramsdale, and they have Matt Turner.
And that's our biggest move, Matt Turner is our biggest move. Now the question is, are we going to move Leno in the next 12 hours? Not likely.
Yeah, they have to. It's like, or just you're paying 3 goalies at least $5 million
Well,
a year.
absolutely. But who's going to take Leno off us?
I bet you I think Newcastle are going to pick him up. I don't know why. I just think Newcastle has all this money and they're willing to take him.
True. Well,
the only it's not like Leno's bad.
Well, the only other team, depending on the health of, because Mendy hasn't been healthy, as much as years past, right? Like he's been struggling with some injuries. Don't be surprised if Chelsea, kind of robs us a bit. But I could say them, just to have a quality backup behind Mendy.
Yeah, Chelsea have actually been pretty quiet too.
And I'm surprised in that. Chelsea usually does something by now, but they're pretty well set. Especially with what's going on with what's his face, Lukaku.
Yeah. Well, Lukaku turned out to be a bust, kind of.
Well, he started off great at the beginning of the season, and it's like the Ronaldo thing. They both started great when they first started, and the season kind of is draining on them, and they're just now miserable.
Well, I think the thing with Ronaldo is his team is absolutely trash, and they're all like he still scores, but his players, like Mason Greenwood, we're gonna talk about Mason Greenwood, but Mason Greenwood, like behind scenes, look what's going on with all these guys there. It's like, but we're gonna get to him. Don't worry, guys, we'll get to him. But I just don't. I don't know. I think it's his players, and I think he's super frustrated that he has all these Mickey Mouse players at this big club because he looks at Manchester as being the greatest club in the world.
Absolutely, everyone does. Like you mentioned English Premier League, and yes, Man City, and yes, Liverpool, and yes, Chelsea have won it more recently. But when you think of the elite, there, like what team pops into your head right away when someone says, "Hey, English Premier League, do you watch the EPL?" Manchester 9 times out of 10 pops into your head, or somebody will say, "Oh, I'm a Man U fan."
Yeah, and it's like Manchester United, and now it's like it's probably hurting his heart to see that it's getting ran so poorly right now. So it's like,
absolutely,
because he probably is like, damn, why'd I come here? I should have just went to PSG with Messi.
As much as those two, teammate wise, I don't see it, but no, absolutely,
yeah. So another Liverpool signing, they signed Fabio Carvalho, which is nice. They're getting a couple support players.
Depth signings.
Yeah, depth signings. Yeah. And Villarreal to sign Tottenham's Gio Lo Celso. So that's a nice Argentine player. He's gone to Villarreal. And speaking of Sevilla, Spanish league, Anthony Martial from Manchester United went to Sevilla.
Yes.
And so he's gone. Yeah. So that's pretty crazy. And another move going to Barcelona actually is Adama Traore from the Wolves, the big Jack guy that gets oiled.
Yeah, I heard about that this morning. He was going. The Wolves lost him.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like Barcelona picked him up, and they might pick Aubameyang up. I mean, they could actually Aubameyang could be rejuvenated there. I could see him doing well over there.
He could. It's just I think that if we do. Let's say we get rid of him out of our lineup for the rest of this season, at least.
Yeah.
Whether it be a 6-month or 18-month loan, whatever they, come to terms on and everything like that.
Yeah.
If we do make the move, and I go back to Isaac, do we really want him back? Like, do we see him being with our team long future, or are we just going to find somebody who would take him permanently?
Yeah, it's hard to.
Like I personally, I'm done with him. I don't want him back. I
think everybody, like I have an Aubameyang jersey because he's been the best player for the last 3 years except for this year and half of last year.
Exactly, so and I don't think anyone really is going to miss him that much.
I think Arteta ruined that guy's career, and I
Well, he
think
did the
that's
same with Ozil last season, right?
yeah. And it's like, well, actually, that other guy did. Emery ruined
Right.
Ozil's
Yeah. Fair
career.
enough.
Yeah, but think about this. Aubameyang was scoring the most goals in the league every season until Arteta came. Then he
Yep.
changed his style of playing from the back and playing this weird chase the ball all the time.
That's what I mean. Like, it's kick the ball and run down the field, and that's why he's got people like Zaka, right? Who are great for that. Like, look at how they were in the World Cup and everything.
And
You know,
Gabriel Martinelli. Yeah.
Like just let's boot it down there, and well, we got speed on the outside. Let's just chase the ball down and hope our strikers and mids can get down there, fast enough that you can set up something.
Yeah, well, I think it more comes from the defensive side because I don't think he understands like the reason why Aubameyang was scoring because he didn't have to play tracking back soccer as a striker. You shouldn't have to rely on your striker to track back on your side of the field. You should actually give him the freedom to make runs so he can get in the spots to get those tap in goals, to get those chances. Like if you make your striker play defense more than like I don't think he'll do good. Like and that's what it's proven now because Aubameyang has to run back and track. And it's like that's not his style of play.
No, it's not. That's not what he was built for. Like his style of play is not meant for that. Like you said, he's not to backtrack and run here or run there. Like he is meant to, get the ball up, pass the defenseman and let him go off the races and plan it.
Yeah, that's what he does. But if he has to worry about playing defense, then his whole game's done.
Well, that's the thing. He's got to be like, okay, let's just use White or Tierney. He's like, where are those two? Where do I have to cover for them? If the on the opposite side.
I'm not like all the Arsenal fans that hate him. I like him, and I just want him to leave so it doesn't ruin his career by changing his style when he's 3 years old. Or whatever he is.
When he gets to like Ronaldo, Messi kind of age, right? Yeah. And that's the thing. As much as I bash the guy, I don't. I'm the same way. Lacazette as well. I enjoy them absolutely as an Arsenal fan. I liked having them, but you're not doing anything for us now. And whether that be the change of play we are now, or you're just not happy and you want to change.
Sometimes if you if you have respect for a player, it's just honestly better to see them go do better somewhere else.
Exactly. Well, and that brings up the last name who we actually had the respect to do that for, I find, was Van Persie, right? He was tired of the losing. Yes, we finished a couple of times top 4 with them, but we were never there close enough to win the league at that time.
No, we had no ambition.
No, exactly. So, we're like, all right, go to Man U and win in Man U.
Yeah, and he's the biggest snake now in history. That's what
more than Cashley?
Yeah, or Adebayor.
There you go.
Yeah. But
we got a few snakes in our team history.
But I guess we'll get rid of the transfer day deadline, and we'll move on to this one actually right after. So, dream transfers for Arsenal. What would your dream? Maybe we'll go realistic dream, not like Messi and Ronaldo.
Right.
Well, say
we're talking current players right now. Anybody in any league?
Yeah. Me, I would say
I got 2 right now. I'll say I'll go more realistic that I could see happening.
Yeah.
Is actually I'm viewing it more like you were last week. I think we can pull off the Haaland. I really think I'd be okay with that if Odegaard, gets in Arteta's ear and Edu's ear enough of, hey, we need him. This would make the team 10 times better.
Yeah.
Or like you said, them being best buddies.
Yeah. I don't see the problem in that either, actually. I think
that would be a huge thing for me. Like I would be ecstatic for a move like that. I think that's something that would wake up Arsenal.
Dude, let's just say this. We paid $72 million for Pep. Why wouldn't we just pay 25 extra more million for that guy?
$100 million contract for him. Yeah. Well, and we were like I said to you before, with Dustin, we were willing to pay 75, and he went to less for that. To what was it, Barca, right? Or Juvie? No, sorry, he went to Juvie, but he took less money to go there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So we have the money now. As far as more, would it take a lot more, or wheeling and dealing or moving contracts here and there.
Yeah.
If I had to pick somebody else I would want as a dream transfer, I'd probably say, you know what? I'd probably say from Chelsea. I'll go with, you know, a rival, and I'll take Timo.
Timo, yeah. I gotta take Conte.
You see, I don't mind Conte, but I think Timo is a lot more talented than people give him credit for. He's just not suited for that team.
Yeah, see me, I'd probably go for nice and easy. I'd go for Erling Haaland, but I'd also go for Jonathan David because he's Canadian, basically.
Keep going on that.
And it's a nice easy one. I think that's a realistic one. I think we could get it, and I think he's by far better than any striker we have. And that's what I think. And for maybe like and another one, I'd probably go for. I definitely wouldn't go for that Arthur guy from UV. I wouldn't go.
I really didn't understand the whole infatuation with him. Like I really didn't get why we were so high up on him.
Now, yeah, I definitely wouldn't go. I'd go for Ollie Watkins or Calvert-Lewin. And those are
Calvert-Lewin, and you know, I see that. I think that's a done deal come summer. I think that he definitely would be going there. Like coming.
We'll see how Frank Lampard uses him.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess we'll go keep in football realm. We'll go with Mason Greenwood. This guy was in the news recently. Yeah, and this guy was one of the best young stars in the world. Best young stars. Best English player. Like I remember before Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe, this guy was the man. Like he was the best player. And then so all his demons, I guess this is probably why he hasn't been playing much and not playing up to his star boy status. His girlfriend ended up exposing videos of all her bruises and her bleeding face because he beat her. And so
it came out this morning, didn't it?
Yeah. So what do you think about this? I think her name was Robin, but what do you think about this guy? Do you think he should be allowed to play? Do you think it's
absolutely not? No,
I don't think so. No,
absolutely. No. I think he's done his career in with that kind of stuff. You know, you see all the other leagues. You know, their stance on that kind of stuff. It's pretty much a season suspension. If not, you're pretty much blacklisted in them.
Yeah. And do you think like as a guy in the locker room? I couldn't even be around somebody like that.
No, exactly. You know, it's a value in a locker room thing. You know what? Like, how do you practice or play with a guy who basically is going to be now labeled as a woman beater?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's like he beat her. Like she has bruises like on every square inch of her body.
I saw the pictures this morning, and I'm like, holy man! Like you literally, it's like she went 3 rounds with Mike Tyson, pretty much.
Yeah, it's like damn.
No, Mike Tyson out there watching us. Not to say you're a woman beater, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Like her face looks like mashed potatoes, pretty much. Like
it's she's bleeding. I was like, damn, and I can't see that guy. That guy ruined his whole career, man. That guy was still young.
And you know what? He'll come up with every excuse, get his PR team out there and they'll say, I know it was a wrong thing to do. And I lost my temper for, 30 seconds. Like they all say, I blacked out and all this crap. But,
the only thing I see him doing this, actually, I see him paying his girlfriend off to be like, that was fake.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought at first, when that got reported, I'm like, okay, is this just her? I want money, so I'm going to come up with this wild story, She could have very well at first, went drinking out and fallen face planted until the, sidewalk road. Right? And been like, my face is messed up. I'm going to get money out of him now by saying he beat the shit out of me.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they're going to get, she was just mad at him because because he beat her, so she's mad and upset about it. But I think she might. You never know with a woman just like they get back together, and then she comes out and says, "No, that was just fake," because they're back together.
I was mad at him.
Yeah. It could be something like that, like some Stockholm syndrome stuff. But who knows? And then, like you said, he could just be gone for the remainder of the season, and then maybe not back at Manchester United, but a lower team. Like Brighton or something, maybe.
Right, and that's usually how they got to come back if they do get a chance. They got to
Yeah.
start at the bottom tier leagues, like it could be very well, the relegation leagues too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, he may have to start. Let's just say Derby. Let's say
Yeah.
Rooney gives him a chance.
Now saying that, so saying all that, let's just say this: if that guy went to Brighton, killed it, like leading goal scorer, and then he's like. Then Arsenal have the chance to sign him. Would you take him?
No. I couldn't do it based on the value or beliefs and values and all. I still couldn't do it. I would still see him. You're the guy who punch the shit out of your girlfriend.
Yeah, it's just like listening to Chris Brown. Yeah, you just beat Rihanna up, and you want me to listen to you?
Well, yeah,
but it's like
I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
It could be it could be Messi. Let's say Messi did it. Let's say if it was Ronaldo Messi type player who did it. Like you said, let's say Messi's free agent, Ronaldo free agent, and Arsenal's looking. I'd be like, if you sign him, I won't support this team.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Do it. Yeah, that's a fair point, I guess. Yeah, because it's like it'd be hard.
Did you watch a team that had him on there?
No, like look at it's like kind of like having like an Antonio Brown on the team or something. Like you can't. How are you supposed to work around these guys?
Well, I love him.
How are you supposed to work around these guys?
I know you're all going to be like, how can you say that about Greenwood but love Antonio Brown? I love the theatrics. I love a basket case.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I like Randy Moss and Terrell Owens. Those guys to me were funny basketball.
Exactly. You got to have a diva on the team at some point, but it's got to be manageable too, right? Like a Randy Moss, Terrell Owens was manageable.
Yeah, and those guys were like passionate.
Yeah, they still played the game. They still did what was asked of them. They didn't say, "Give me, $75 million and I'll play when I feel like it." Randy Moss a little bit more so, and Chad Owens even a little bit here and there, but overall, they still produced.
Terrell Owens was more just like he was just more like he was so yeah, it's like both those guys were like, I remember that era, Randy Moss, Ocho Cinco, Terrell Owens, like that was entertaining stuff, and that. When they got rid of the touchdown dance and they still did it and they got fined,
Oh yeah, they were doing it regardless. They were willing to take that because that was, like you said, at that time and like that era of football, that was what it was. It was who could do the biggest celebration. It was always one-upping each other, the three of them, and you knew all three of them were watching each other and seeing who could do the best celebration, right, or the most creative celebration.
Yeah. So moving on, I guess Team Canada soccer. I think they pulled it out, right?
And they won 2-0 tonight.
So they beat USA. US of A. I remember when we had to face USA, we're like, oh man,
we're like, Landon Donovan, Bradley,
even now, they still got a good team. I don't know what's going on.
They were only 1 point behind us going into today. We got a 4-point cushion now.
Now we qualify, right, for sure?
No, there's still 2 or 3. I think we got to win in our next game. If we win, then even if we were to lose out, we still are going to finish no worse than second.
Yeah. So I think we're as good as first.
Pretty much, let's say we're no worse than second. Let's say I think we do qualify.
Do you think playing in the cold has a lot to do with it?
Based off who's in our grouping, I think so. I would give that definitely some consideration. Not when it comes to the States, right? Because they're just as bad. But look at everyone else in that: Jamaica, Honduras, Mexico. You come up here and like tonight it was, or even last night it was like with the wind chill, it was minus 35. Like you put a soccer game in there, they're gonna be like, what the hell am I doing? That ball's gonna probably be frozen.
Yeah, and it hurts, man. It hurts.
Oh yeah, there is no launching that ball or toe bashing it. There, you do that, you're breaking your toes. But absolutely, I think that is a big factor. Is the weather right now? Playing it outside today at Iverwin or Tim Hortons Field, whatever you want to call it now.
But I think even as a Canadian, I remember playing outside. I think it wasn't fun for me either. You know?
No, exactly, and I think it's a sport thing too, like a mentality thing to a degree. Like, you know what, like, you know, like you said, you know, as a kid playing out, you know, no kid wants to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and go to a soccer or baseball game or even
Yeah.
use football, you know, in the fall, you know, and it's below zero out there. Like, I'll tell you right now, like, you know, when I was a youngin, you know what, and I was playing high school and pee wee football, I hated playing those 7 o'clock,
Oh,
8 o'clock games at night in the
dude.
some rain. It was freezing cold.
Dude, I remember a soccer team. We had practice before school and after school.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we
Like
had to
2 days.
five in the morning to go play at Montgomery Park. That's where we practice at for
Okay.
Delta. And
Yep.
because we weren't lucky like Churchill to have our own field, you know.
Friggin' who else have their own field? Salt Fleet.
Yeah, and so like we had to play at Montgomery Park at 5 in the morning. Then after getting all sweaty when it's freezing cold out, we'd have to walk to school and do our whole school day, and then go back to Montgomery Park and practice for 2 hours.
Right, exactly. And, you know, yes. So, you know, for even them being at like a semi-pro or professional level, it still drains on you mentally. Like, you know, absolutely, especially when it's you're pretty much, well, like, look at you, right? For you, it's a whole body shock thing, right?
Yeah. So,
Like,
so what do you think? Do you think do you think that these guys really believe in themselves and they have a chance? Do you think that that's like a huge,
absolutely. I think as far as Team Canada goes, I think they do. You know, like I said to you and Fink when we first started booting that up, that was my first question with Alfonso Davies being out these 2 games because of COVID.
yeah.
They were pretty much have to win, especially tonight being only 1 point ahead of the U.S.
And just think about that. What you just said. We did it without Alfonso
That's
Davies.
what I mean. So, yeah, absolutely. I think they believe, you know, we don't need just 1 or 2 players to carry us. Like, it can be anybody. Like, it was Jonathan Davies who scored
The chip. Yeah.
the chip in the other night. Yeah, against Panama or whoever we played. You know, he got us the pretty much cushion lead.
Honduras.
We don't need Alfonso, obviously.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think these guys, they don't care if it's rain, sun, snow. They don't care right now. They're jacked up, you know?
Yeah, they've bought into it. You know, they're viewing it as, okay, you know, like you said, maybe I'm wrong. They might have qualified tonight, but, you know, they're viewing it as a 1 more win, and we're off to Qatar in a couple of months.
Yeah. I think they qualified, but I think their aim now is to finish number 1 because they want to make it a statement.
Yeah, I was going to say, now it's a seeding thing. What group and seeding do you want to place? You know, you want to be risking your chance of getting, you know, the group of death.
So let me tell you this. So my kid and my girlfriend are from Argentina. We live in Croatia. I'm half Croatian and I'm Canadian. Imagine if Argentina, Croatia, and Canada were all in the same group.
In the same group? Oh, God. I was going to say that, or you'll be sleeping outside for, you know, a month or so.
Yeah, I already told him. I said, if that happens, I'm going for Canada. So,
oh, yeah. You got it.
It's like, it's not only that. They're the underdogs in the group because Croatia, they came second last World Cup. So they're a good team. Yeah, Argentina, they just won Copa America. They're a good team.
Yeah, so they're going to be the 2 tops there, our favorites, some of the favorites there. But, no, a lot of people I still think are sleeping on Canada. And I hear you, you know, I'm half Scottish. So, you know, Scotland is, I think, 1 point behind Denmark in our group, but we've pretty much locked up second spot.
So do you love Kieran Tierney or no?
Off that international team, I don't mind him. But I still am a strong believer in Billy Gilmore.
Yeah, you love Billy Gilmore.
Right? I love Billy Gilmore. So going back quickly to Dream.
I think Scotland have Tierney and Robertson.
Yeah. And, you know, that goes back to, you know, your quick question, you know, a couple minutes ago of dream transfers. If I wanted an up-and-comer, I'd love to see Billy Gilmore with us.
Yeah, imagine Billy Gilmore and Tierney.
That's what I mean.
But stay on Team Canada here. Team Canada. So they already qualified, I'm pretty sure. But if they make the World Cup, which they probably did, imagine this: they score their first goal in a World Cup competition ever.
Right.
Like they haven't scored ever, like
No.
ever. So
They
they never
will
won again.
score, and they will score. I don't think we are going to be a team, regardless of what.
One game.
I think regardless of what group we get put in, whether it be group of death, one of the easiest one, I think we're going to win a couple of games. And I think that we are not going to be a team that's going to lose 5-0, 6-0. I don't think we're going to be I don't think we're going to be the Ghanas or the Chinas or I don't think we're going to be those teams that qualify and then get blown out. I don't think we're going to be a team like that.
I think I would actually love to see them against a team like Brazil. I would like to see them against these teams, even like a Germany, because I think Germany, I don't think they did too well. They haven't been doing too well either. Or like even like in a group with Serbia or something, even though they might not win, I think they'll have good chances against these guys. Because I think Canada, they'll come out like they're a hard-nosed team, I think. Right. I think they'll do it. They'll grind it out.
And I just took a quick look here. No, we did not qualify, but if Mexico loses, we qualify.
Oh, damn. Let's go Mexico, eh?
Basically, we have to lose out, and the States and Mexico's game is at 6 o'clock tonight against Costa Rica. Damn. So if Mexico loses that, we pretty much have locked up at least one of the top three, because it's top three qualify no matter what, and then fourth is the play-in.
Yeah, the play-in. So yeah, I think the top three. I think we'll qualify. I think we just need one more win. So or even
that's what they're saying basically. Because right now Canada at 22, States at 17, and Mexico at 17, and then Panama is at 14, and Costa's at 12.
Yeah. So I think we'll qualify. I think we just need a tie and we're through then.
No, we need just a. Just Mexico lost. They can't get any better than second. The only team that can really pass, because it will stay ahead of Mexico, because we're ahead of Mexico by 5. So worst case scenario, like you said,
we're already ahead of USA. So we have the same games in hand. So USA, so it's okay.
Yeah, because for us to fall to, we can't as of right now. There's no way for us to fall to fourth because Panama's sitting at fourth with 14, and we've got a 8-point lead on them.
Yeah, so we're through basically.
It's just like you said. Where do we end up? Do we finish 1, 2, or 3?
Yeah, I'd rather finish 1 because it's a pride thing.
Well, yeah, I just really hope we don't get stuck in not that I wouldn't give us a chance, but let's just say let's say Uruguay, Brazil, Germany, England. I don't want to see us get this far and they get blown out.
Yeah, like England, France, or something.
Yeah, don't put us not that you can say, "Hey, FIFA, don't do this to Canada."
It's like, hey, we're okay over here. It's our first time.
Yeah, But you know what? I'd laugh my ass off if we got put in a very winnable division that we could move on to the elimination round.
Let's just say this: we go in a group with like a team like Ivory Coast or something.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Those type of teams. Yeah, absolutely. And there's always every World Cup. There's 1 or 2 divisions where it's anybody's. Anybody's thing.
Yeah, but you got to think about this: with all the groups being the same level, that's a group of death with them too, because it's like so much pressure on them, But they just don't get to name the group of death, because they don't have the big caliber names. But the average, when it's the most average teams and they're all like kind of equals, I think that's the hardest one to win.
Yeah, like when you get, like you said, even, let's use Costa Rica, Paraguay, Panama, those teams, everyone's, you're playing right now, you've got there's six or 5 different tournaments going on right now.
Yeah.
And like you said, everybody is playing for Qatar. So, your team is in that qualifying right now tournament because your talent is there. You're Qatar or World Cup talented.
Yeah.
So really, is anybody, take away the big teams, Argentina, England, Brazil, Germany, everybody else, the other 80 teams playing right now, it could be a crapshoot as who gets in because that talent is so close to each other.
Dude, I would love to see Canada womp Qatar.
Oh, absolutely. Qatar, I don't think it has a chance. They're just, it's just we're hosting, we're in.
Yeah. Well, I think there's going to be a lot of fixed games for them, like Russia.
Oh, absolutely. But to think about this too is, you know what? We have one now. Next two World Cups, we're in because the
Yeah,
next one. What? Correct me if I'm wrong. Next one is us and the U.S.
yeah.
hosting.
Yeah, so that's what I was telling my girlfriend. I said, Canada is. She's like, I'm like, guess where the World Cup is in 226. She's like, where? I'm like, Canada. I'm like,
Yeah.
not only is it in Canada, it's by my old city. And she's like, no way. She's like, we got to. I'm like, of course, when I freaking leave, it goes to Canada.
See, you gotta come back. Come back, Joe.
Oh, dude, I swear to God, when it comes there, I'm coming there, bro. I'm going there.
You gotta. You know how chaotic this country's going to be with that.
You know how beautiful? That's what I was telling her. I'm like, it's so beautiful, Canada, in a way. When the World Cup comes around, you don't see it in other countries because we're so multicultural that you see everybody, Portuguese, like Croatia. When Croatia plays,
even the Italians, everybody. Yep.
Everybody, every single country, you see them going down the street. You don't have that here because you only have Argentina. You know, it's like it's like that whole thing. Imagine going downtown Toronto and being there for that World Cup games. Oh my God, man.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's just going to be, you know, like they're going to be shutting that city down, like pretty much the 4 weeks. You know,
yeah, it's going to be crazy, man. Every time they're there, yeah.
You know, absolutely. You know, as much as you know, I haven't had a chance to get out to see, you know, a really good game. Yes, Mike, it would be a great game, or it was a good game tonight.
Frank said, "What a freaking great game!"
Yeah. Absolutely. You know, it's going to be chaotic, and like you said, that is the beautiful thing about it is, you know, going in there and sitting in, let's just say, 50,000 people, and you'll see, you know, from flags from Germany to the Israeli to, you know, Jerusalem. Yeah, you know what I mean? Pick any country. There is no this is just Canada or this is just US or this is just Brazil.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's crazy, and that's going to be huge, man. Like, there's no other sport that has that kind of power in Canada.
No,
hockey doesn't. You don't see Swedish flags or, you know, you don't see World Cup hockey. You got a bar and you're drinking. You kind of, and you don't see there's no even American football. You don't have American football teams that play against USA against. Why don't they have that? I guess there's just not enough teams, right?
No, exactly. Yeah, it's a whole logistic thing. There, you got to be like, it's not worth it, you know, money wise and all this crap. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why I think a football. That's why I don't like football. It's because it's like I just don't. I think it's just an American thing that got hyped up. That just like baseball,
right?
And but that's my view. But we'll move on to Actually, we'll move on to football. We'll move on to Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers, one of the, I guess, greatest, especially if you're a Green Bay Packer fan. He is now gone from the team. He said deuces in his interview.
Basically, yep.
Because he lost 4 times against his favorite childhood team that passed him up in the draft.
49ers.
What do you think? Where do you think he's gonna go, and where would you want to see him, and why do you think what? Because I heard some of the names were like Bears and stuff like this, Raiders. It's like, why would he go to that team late in his career?
Right. Right now, I think the most logical landing spot for him is Denver. They made a push for him before the season last year. Like they really, really wanted him badly.
I think it's a good fit, though.
Well, the other thing is Green Bay also lost their offensive coach, and he went to Denver. So, you know, I could see him, you know, the two of them going there.
Yeah, imagine this. He goes to Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
No.
Takes over Tommy's
job.
No, but I don't know. Where would I want to see him? I don't know, man. I don't know.
I can't see him in another jersey, really. I think he money. Yeah. If it's not Denver, I think he walks away from the game. You know, he's got more than enough money.
All the big teams, let's just say, they already have kind of quarterbacks. You know what I mean? They're not going to get rid of the younger quarterbacks for this.
You know, not that, you know, everyone's going to say, well, it's Aaron freaking Rodgers. Nobody wants Aaron Rodgers and blah, blah, blah. I don't think it's, but still, if you have a young quarterback, what's that do for that young quarterback? If
like
you bring in
Rams,
Aaron Rodgers.
Let's say Rams, because everybody seems to be going there. Who's their quarterback? I don't know who their quarterback is.
Matthew Stafford right now.
Okay, I know who that guy is. He's played for the Lions, right?
Right, but before that, it was Jared Goff, the young kid, right?
Yeah. So I know who both those guys are. I just didn't know that team. But Stafford, I can see Aaron Rodgers going there a little bit, maybe, because it's LA. They do that shit. They do that. They're a sellout team.
Exactly. They want the flashy signing. Same with that's why people say Las Vegas. They want the sexy signing to sell tickets.
Yeah, Las Vegas. What do you think about that team?
Good defense, but offensively, no. I think it'd be too much on him to try. It'd be a Tom Brady kind of saga of him trying to carry this team on.
Since you just said that, so Aaron Rodgers has played in a New England Patriots-esque team, right?
Right.
So they've been playing in the cold their whole career.
Yep.
Do you think that he might pull Brady and go to a sunny destination to have a nice couple years to enjoy the sun?
I can see that.
Yeah,
even though, like you said, cold weather team wise, that's why Denver's up there. Chicago, cold weather. But if he were to go, Raiders or Tampa Bay or any of those teams, let's just say, a wild card could be very well Tennessee Titans could be, another.
How about this? Your team.
The Saints, absolutely. I would love to see him there. I think that would be a greatest thing, Don't
you think that would be a kind of a good fit for him or no?
Absolutely. We got Michael Thomas there, a diva or not, he'd be automatically linking up with him. It's like him in Green Bay with Devontae Adams, and you got Alvin Kamara still there as a running game, and you got a good defense still. Yes, we're $74 million over the cap right now, and we're going to have to make some changes. But
because Drew Brees is gone. How nice would it be to have
that's
another?
What I mean. Absolutely, I would love him if we could get a. Well, that's the thing. I don't know how many people know that, but before Tom Brady went to friggin' Tampa Bay, he reached out to New Orleans and be like, I'm interested in signing with you, and they're like, well, we got Brees for one more year, and Brady thought very well until Tampa Bay jumped all over him. Okay, I'll sit out 1 year. I'll back up Brees for a year.
Imagine if you had Brees and Brady.
That's what tricked me is, we could have had Brady and Brees.
That's crazy. Like, none of those guys should ever be a backup.
No, exactly. I'm like, who would you even start in that situation?
So in the greatest football, since we're talking about Aaron Rodgers here, and he's one of the greatest in this decade, do you think Drew Brees gets a fair shake in the game or what? Or do you think because I know he had that little mishap a couple years back about some little stunt or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah. As far as Brees getting a fair shot or a fair shake, if you were to compare him to say like Brady, Manning,
Rodgers, because Brady,
even Rodgers, I don't think he does. Brees, I don't think he ever got because he set every passing record out there until Brady broke them this year. And to me, that's the only reason why Brady stuck around so long is so he could be, I have all the records. I have 7 Super Bowls.
Yeah, see, well, I'll tell you this. So, as a casual football fan, as I am, I know some stuff, but I don't know any.
Cowboys?
Yeah, but it's like Brees. I know Rodgers, and I know his accolades and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I know who Brees is too. But Brees, you don't hear about Brees like in the same way you hear about an Aaron Rodgers, and I think Brees is a better quarterback. I don't know if I'm out of line or not, but that's what I think. I think he's playing in New Orleans for one. You know what I mean? And it's like this guy, Green Bay has history. New Orleans, but New Orleans is like more of a quieter. I think that's what it comes down to, the market too, that he plays in. Just like Ovechkin, like he plays in the Washington Capitals that have like Washington Capitals. and they had Don Beaupre. But it's like that's how I feel like Breeze is. If he would have went to a Cowboys, maybe his career wouldn't have went as good because Cowboys maybe too much. It's like a circus there, kind of.
Right, exactly. And that's what these big names don't want to really do at this time. Like Brady or Rodgers, they don't want to go to a circus town right now.
No.
This late in their career, at least.
Yeah, but I honestly think that Breeze doesn't get a fair shake in the
No, I don't think he does. I've always loved the guy, even before he was in New Orleans, like when he was playing for San Diego before they got Phillip Rivers. I loved him. I like the smaller quarterbacks, like even with look at Buffalo when they had Doug Flutie, right?
Yeah, Doug Flutie, baby.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think Breeze got a fair shake for what he did for the game or what he
And
he didn't win as many super. Look at it this way: Aaron Rodgers, tons of MVPs, tons of money, tons of stats. Breeze, exact same number of Super Bowl wins.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's like, do you think Aaron Rodgers is overrated because he plays at a big club and he's in the spotlight?
Yes and no, and the only reason I say it is his stats inflate absolutely that make him look like this top 3, top 4, top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, and take the divisions into consideration too.
Well, yeah, right. You're playing look at the Saints. Let's just use this. Let's compare Breeze and Rodgers. Yeah. So the Saints, you've got Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Carolina, and Rodgers, you got Chicago, Minnesota, Detroit. So Detroit is Detroit. Chicago is Chicago. Minnesota is really your only threat.
Yeah, and they're sometimes.
Exactly. They're hit or miss. You look at my division, that division up until Breeze being there or, when he first started there, that division was won by a different team every year. Like there was no New England with Brady where it's like, oh, Brady's there. All right, hand him the division. And they won it 12 years in a row, right?
Yeah, so do you think that and the Cowboys division, do you think those are the hardest 2 divisions?
In the league right now?
Yeah. Well, maybe not right now, but in overall in the last 20 years. Probably,
if I had to pick a toughest division in let's say, I'll give you that time frame, 20 years.
Yeah.
I'd have to say probably the most toughest division is the NFC West right now, which is the Cardinals, Rams, 49ers, and Seahawks. I think that's your toughest division out there.
Dude, Eagles, the Skins, Cowboys. That's a hard division. G-Man? Yeah, the G-Man, yeah. That was a hard division.
Hey, you can't say Redskins anymore. It's Washington football team.
Oh, yeah. I called them the Skins. I didn't call them the Redskins. So the Washington football team. That's a weird name. Doesn't roll off the tongue. Yeah. No. But I always thought that was the hardest division, and maybe because it's the Eagles were good for so long.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Giants were good. The Eagles, Washington was good, absolutely. But you never won from that division, really. Besides the Cowboys having what was it though with Jimmy Johnson winning those back-to-back Super Bowls? You really didn't win in that division, and not that but not like the 49ers or the Seahawks were winning Super Bowls left, right, and center. Let's be honest, the last 20 years, it's been Tom Brady winning a Super Bowl every year, every other year.
Yeah. Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers once, and then Drew Brees.
Exactly. Throwing Eli and Peyton Manning a few times, like they said. I read something in the last 18 years.
Yeah.
They've had it was Kansas City, Tampa Bay, Pittsburgh, and I don't know, New England, I think it was. But they said either that team or a player on that team was in the last 18 Super Bowls, so it kind of got repetitive.
Yeah, and that's the thing with I don't know, football. It felt like it was as a guy outside looking in, you kind of always knew who was going to be good, even if I don't watch it, and I kind of knew who would have a chance.
Who the top teams are.
Yeah. And it's just
That's
like
the only downside to football is absolutely that is for the most part, who's a top team and who's a bottom team. Absolutely.
yeah, like Detroit Lions, like you can always bank on them being last.
Absolutely.
But like just like the Bills, everybody knows they'll squeak into the playoffs, make it to the Super Bowl final, and lose.
Yeah. Exactly, right.
It's just like it's pretty predictable at times, and like right now, I don't know. I'm not gonna. I think Rams and KC, and then KC Patty Mahomes.
Right.
Yeah, or like because you know what I say Patty Mahomes because there's a guy on the other team, the Rams, named ODB. Yeah, and it's just like do we want to see this guy win? I don't know.
Right.
He irks me for some reason. I don't know why.
It's his behavior. It's like the Antonio Brown whole issue. It's the diva. A lot of people don't want to turn on their TV and watch somebody, a multi-million-dollar athlete act like that.
But to me, I think it has to do with him being known for this amazing catcher when he has a glove.
Yeah, the one-handers.
Yeah, but it's like you have a glove with glue on it.
Yeah, the stick. Jerry Rice.
Yeah, Jerry Rice. But this guy, like this, literally, I can catch any pass with these things. Like it's like, and I'm not a football player. And it's like to me, it's just this guy, and he's so arrogant about it, where he's not even funny. To me, like at least Ocho Cinco, Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, these guys were hilarious when they did stuff. Brown was funny. These guys are funny. This guy, he's just so flamboyant with dancing and.
Me. Look at what I can do. The team revolves around me.
And something just leaked that he said to I forget what player it was, but the player was thinking about coming to Cleveland Browns to play with Odell Beckham Jr. because he's like, don't come to Cleveland. So it's like, dude, you're complaining because you got traded. Just be a professional and play your heart out. Stop being a whiner.
Obviously, if you keep playing your heart out, and there will be a team that goes, okay, let's go get this guy. He's still producing. He's not happy there. Let's go, give up whatever for him.
Yeah,
because we always got to produce. If he's in a shitty situation or he's not in one.
And that's why I hated when I seen him go to this team. It's because this team's stacked.
Yeah, and if they win the Super Bowl, he's gonna be like, oh, look, it was because of me and me.
Yeah. And then he's going to be.
It won't because of you. It won't be you got traded halfway through this year.
Let's say this: Aaron Rodgers is in the twilight of his career. Maybe 1 or 2 years left. Yep. We're going to get Tom Brady. But Odell Beckham Jr., if he wins, he is going to probably be on the cover of all the Maddens, the magazines. He's going to be the new face of the league. Do you want to see a guy like that be the face of football?
No, that's what I'm saying. Is he's going to have it will be a whole Antonio Brown thing all over again. It will just, that ego is going to shoot through the roof, and he'll be like, screw the defense. Who cares? They could pitch a shutout in the Super Bowl, and he could have no catches, no yards, no touchdowns, and he'll say, I still did it. It was me. Yeah. I did it.
And he's going to be like, I'd like to thank Jesus Christ. Yeah.
I'm in Disney World.
And all my choreographers for my dance moves. Yeah. But let's move on to the biggest news in football entertainment today. Mr. Thomas Brady.
We're taking the high road and stepping out of here finally after 22 years.
So do you think that he because I read a couple comments, there's a few comments actually under this page on TSN on Instagram. They said, I'm glad he didn't embarrass himself like Peyton Manning and playing too long. Do you think that's the case? Or do you think that...
I think he embarrassed himself before then.
Do you? But he still won, though.
Because I don't understand why you needed to go to Tampa Bay. Like, you already had won 6 Super Bowls in New England.
But, okay, hold on. So, I'm a Cowboys fan, right?
Right.
And Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman, Irvin are... like my guys, right?
Yeah.
Well, I got to say this about Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith just played just to beat Barry Sanders.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And that's what I brought up the thing, before Tom Brady left and went to Tampa Bay, he was chasing Breeze. You know, they were going touchdown for touchdown, yard for yard. You know, and Breeze was for the longest time leading him. So, did you play just so you could have these records, like past Breeze and everything?
See, this is where I think it's different for him. I think he wanted to prove to people that he won the Super Bowls and not Bill Belichick.
And that's what a lot of people brought up is, can Bill win without Brady? Can Brady win without Bill? Yeah, and I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody really having won that argument yet, because yes, New England did win the Super Bowl last year. Brady did, but this year, you know, New England went 12-4 or whatever with the rookie quarterback, and Tom Brady, I think, had the same record. Yeah. And you know, they both got knocked out in the playoffs.
But let's just say this: with age comes experience, and for a coach. But with age comes the end of your career for a player. So at the end of his career, he went to a team like Tampa Bay Buccaneers that probably would never have won anything without him. And that's a fact. Right. Yeah. So to me, he just shut Bill Belichick up. And that's why Bill Belichick, every time they play, is super quiet, because he's an arrogant dude. He's one of the most arrogant coaches out there. And he didn't even want to say hi or what's up to Tom Brady on the field ever. And you know, it's like, and then Tom Brady just had this smile at him and just, you know, give him that grin. It's like, I got a superstar model wife, and I beat your ass, boy. But to me, I think, I still think in my era, like, Aikman's the best. No, I'm joking. But I still think Peyton Manning's the best quarterback. That's what I'm going to say.
You know, and once it's all said and done. Yeah, and some people will agree with you on that. Like, you don't say Peyton was the smartest, Peyton this, Peyton that.
Yeah. And, but Tom Brady has obviously the most team accolades. I don't know if that goes for individual awards, but he won the Super Bowls, and I don't know how far a Super Bowl win can make you the best. It's when you play on a team with a whole bunch of good players and the best coach, and, you know, these things. Because these things factor, yeah. So it's hard. Just like Michael Jordan. Everybody says he's the best. He's better than LeBron. But LeBron won it in 3 different teams. And Michael Jordan only did it with a stacked all-star team. But hey, that's just, and people are like, well, LeBron James is a Karen. LeBron Karen or LeCaren or something. It's like, well, dude, take out the personal beliefs that you have against him and look at how he plays. I mean, the guy's dominant, you know? Yeah. You don't like him?
I don't like LeBron. I hate him. I'm one of those LeBron's haters.
Yeah, you can make fun of him all you want, but the facts are there. He won with 3 different teams, and nobody else has really done that.
He went to teams and whined to get the players he wanted. Miami,
dude. Right? He didn't go. They all had a plan. They're buddies, and
of course it was. When they did, what was it called with LeBron? The choice or the decision or whatever. He knew where he was going. Bosch knew where he was going.
Oh, dude, they almost went to Toronto, but I guess Dwayne Wade didn't want to leave.
Of course. Miami. Would you want to be in Miami, or do you want to go to Toronto where it's freezing cold every day?
Dude, I love Toronto. I think Toronto's my favorite city that I've been to, but that's just me. I think it's an awesome city, except for winter. Yeah.
More than your hometown?
Yeah, I mean, so moving on from Tom Brady, we're actually not moving on at all, because we got this question: Brady, Manning, Elway, or Joe Montana? Who would you have in a playoff push, a clutch performance, or just the Super Bowl final? Who, if you had all 4 of those quarterbacks on your team, which one would you start?
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning, yeah. You know,
Tom Brady, I find panicked too much. If you hit him, Elway, I never believed in the guy. And Montana, I think, was just his skill set was based around the talent he had. You had people like Jerry Rice and, you know, all of them. I know it's comparing Montana and Elway to Brady and Manning is apples and oranges, but
see me.
I think Peyton is just the smartest quarterback. I think he can lead a game-winning drive no matter what. And I think the other 3, you hit them or you blitz them or whatever, you make them panic and they blow it. They throw a pick or they just would get frustrated.
Me, I'm going with Eminem. I'm going with Montana and Manning. I think one of those 2 is a toss-up for me. But I think Montana just gets edged out by Manning. I think Manning is just too smart. I think the way he's just too smart. He's just a smart quarterback. He knew he had vision. Like when I remember watching him, I would just watch football games, and he's a Colts player. I don't
Right.
I don't watch football, and I find myself watching the Colts, and I'm a Cowboys fan. It's just because it's just that like you sometimes it's like when there's great things that you don't want to pass up to watch. You just watch it. Like Messi and Ronaldo, the debate is like who's better. It's like just enjoy them both. But it's because you get to watch them. But like at that time, I remember watching Manning all the time, man. And I was like thinking, I know like Colts fans, they'll all be like, "Oh, our team was great around Manning." I'm like, no, it's just because you're a Colts fan, you're overhyping your team. I'm like, if the team was not, they're average players. Because when they went to other teams, they weren't good. The other players,
Right.
like Marvin Harrison, he wasn't good when he went to another team. These guys, and that's where I think Manning and I think Brady always had like stacked good people around him, like coaching staff, everything. He had everything. But I don't know. I don't know Manning's coaching staff, to be honest with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Montana had Jerry Rice. You're right. And Jerry Rice is arguably the best receiver of all time.
Right, exactly. And I just want to bring it up because I know you said you didn't know what was going on and everything.
Yeah.
Just want to let you know, Kansas City eliminated from the playoffs. Cincinnati.
The Bengals, cat life.
Bengals knocked him off in overtime, 27-24.
And I just predicted that Patty Mahomes would do it.
Yeah, he threw a pick in overtime, came back. The Bills game came back to haunt him last week.
Damn.
First of Buffalo, yeah.
So Bengals could be the first ever team named after a cat to win.
There you go. You were bringing that up.
Dude, let's go fucking Bengals, baby.
They're going to be everyone's going to be rooting for that team. I guarantee you it.
Yeah, I wonder why. Especially if the Rams win. Oh, please don't let the Rams out. Let's go Niners.
A lot of people want to see that. They want to see the old Bengal 49ers Super Bowl rematches.
Yeah, it would be nice because it's like if the Rams win, man, damn, I don't want to see them win.
See, I'm a Saints fan, and the 49ers won the last week to keep us out. So I hate both the Rams. We've had history the last couple of years in playoffs, like both of those teams. So either team that wins that game tonight, I'm still going to be a Bengal fan for the week. But I'm with you. I'd probably like to see the 49ers in their rematch with them.
So we're gonna switch it to the KC and Bengals now.
There you go. See?
So yeah, KC and Bengals. KC's out. Damn.
Yeah, damn, and they blew a friggin' what was it, 11-point lead at halftime.
Yeah, dude, you told me they're winning. Like I'm like, oh well, they're in.
They were winning 21. KC was winning 21-10 at halftime, and Bengals came back all the way back.
That's
and you know what the sad thing is they played 2-3 weeks ago in the regular season, and KC was up 11 points as well.
Damn.
And they blew that game as well.
Damn, that's crazy.
So like my brother-in-law, he's friggin' huge KC fan. Patty Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes.
That's all you hear.
And that's the thing is, like they were talking about Kansas City being the first team in forever to 4 straight Super Bowl trips or whatever, or AFC championships. You've only won 2 out of those 4.
Yeah,
or 3, or sorry, whatever. And, I'm going to get caught out here because I don't have all my stats, blah blah blah. But the point being, you paid Patrick Mahomes, this massive, stupid contract. I don't know if you ever heard of it, like what he's getting paid right now. It's like a 7 or 10 year, like for $252 million. Like basically, is an A-Rod contract he got.
Oh my god, damn!
And you've won 1 Super Bowl. You won 1 Super Bowl. You've had 2 chances now to go to the Super Bowl, and you went to another one and you lost to Tom Brady.
And some would consider this one an easier chance to go to the Super Bowl.
Absolutely, to lose to you played Buffalo after you beat Buffalo, and you were watching that Tennessee Cincinnati game, and you see Tennessee lose to Cincinnati. Both Buffalo and KC were like, this is going to be an easy win next week, whoever moved on. And that's how KC probably saw this was, hey, this is going to be, our path to the Super Bowl is easy. We just got to beat friggin' Cincinnati.
Damn.
And you lost. And to blow an 11-point lead as well. Like, you lost.
Yeah. And not only did they lose, he lost it because he threw the pick.
He threw the pick in overtime. The stats, I think, at halftime where he had 3 touchdowns, 250 yards, and 3 incompletions. He had as many touchdowns as incompletions at halftime.
Damn. It's crazy, yeah?
And I was shocked. As we were doing this, I'm watching this. I'm like, no way. And then I saw it go to overtime. And then I'm like watching it. I see Kansas City moving down the field.
Dude.
And then as I see Cincy has it, and they're in Kansas City territory, I'm like, okay, what the hell did I miss? And I see the pick. I'm like,
yeah, that's why I made the prediction. Casey, oh yeah, they're in the final already. I didn't. Yeah, that's what I.
And yeah. I don't know. The other thing, where we're on this Bengal topic is, I don't know if you saw it. There's a guy in Las Vegas. He put I think only $5,000 on Cincinnati to win the Super Bowl. If he wins, if they win in 2 weeks, he's like $1.5 million richer.
Damn.
On a $5,000 bet. And I always contemplate doing that. Okay. I'm like, even I'm not going to drop 5 G's on it,
but like $100.
$100, $500 just for the hell of it. And if there's the Patriots, the Packers, a team that is going to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
they're going to be less payout, but go back to EPL and look at how many people probably took Leicester City to win the Premier that year.
Yeah, that's crazy. I know the one guy won large off it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, Yeah. If you got money to blow and you want to, test your luck, pick it.
That guy only put 100 pounds on it.
That's what I mean. You don't have to throw $5,000 on something. Like you said, drop a 50, drop $100, and hell, you walk away with 25,000.
If Jesus is with you that night, he's with you.
Exactly. That's what I mean. You could make your yearly salary in one night on one game. I'd be like, I'd be fine with that. I can't retire, but hell, if I got paid basically a year's worth of salary for free,
or you lose a weekend of Uber Eats for the family. That's it.
No pizza out there for you, Mike.
No pizza. So we'll move on to the Rams and 49ers. What's your prediction? And who would you like to see win?
It's so hard because I hate both of them.
Yeah.
If I had to pick, because I think I've done this the last 3 Super Bowls, it's always been people like last year. It was so torn for me because it was either Brady or Mahomes, and I hate KC and I hate Brady. But again, with this game, if I had to pick the lesser of the 2 evils, I got to go 49ers.
This guy said Joe Burrow is watching
Snoop and Trey.
So 49ers are giant killers. That's what he said, Mike. Yeah.
And that's what everyone's bringing up is that the 49ers have won, these games on the road. Yeah. 3 games on the road. They're going to set a record if they win.
Yeah.
If they beat the Rams on the road, 49ers are going to be the first team to do that.
Yeah, my buddy Neil Hess, he's actually a huge 49ers fan, and 49ers and Cowboys, we always had this thing growing up where
the Cowboys 49ers.
Yeah. So it's like, sure, I want to see my buddy happy, but do I really? Do I really?
You were a fan when T.O. went and stomped on the Stars logo at midfield?
Yeah, I remember that. And then when he came, what's crazy about that is I always used to look up. I'm like, oh, that guy is great. And then when he did that, it was like, well, damn, you know what I mean? And,
I've lost all respect.
and then he comes to our team, and you're like, yeah, it's so weird.
Exactly.
It's like, yeah, because then that was like when we got Terrell Owens, man. If we would have had a different quarterback than Tony Romo, I think we would have did good. I think Tony Romo should always just be a coach and never a player. That's
right. Exactly. Tony Romo was I remember the one game that always was stand out that I'll always remember him for. You remember him in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Against Seattle and friggin' what was it, the extra point or 2-point conversion they went for, and he just fumbled it. He just ran away.
Oh man.
And he just chucked it to nowhere.
dude. I remember I remember like sometimes like when you, man, when he wasn't passing the TO for a couple times, when he cried and stuff,
Oh
and then
yeah,
they had because
that's
he
my
like
quarterback.
yeah, and it's like and then he wasn't passing a TO like a lot, and I was just like, I didn't understand a lot of his decisions like as a player, but like when you watch him in the broadcast booth and you listen to his like he can call every single play that happens on the field. He calls. I don't know if have you been paying attention to his broadcast stuff,
Oh yeah,
and he calls everything. He's like telling everybody like what's gonna happen and how it's gonna happen. And it's like, dude, are you Rain Man of football? Like, how are you gonna do this when you're a quarterback?
Well, that's the thing, I was watching him, and I'm pretty sure he was commentating the Cincinnati game.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about him is he makes it. I call him Captain Obvious because he'll say the most obvious thing. Like it just irks me, and I was watching the first quarter of the game, and I think.
But that's what it is. As a guy that knows football, when you watch it, you can predict a play because it's obvious to them. Probably.
Well, that's the thing, but it's just I don't like him even. I just don't like him talking. Like, don't talk. Like, just be a mute.
Yeah. Yo, there's some guys that like when they talk, it's just there's a guy Jack Wilshere for Arsenal. He's like when he talks, he's just a boring ass guy. He just has like Eli Manning. He's just boring to me. When
that's what they were doing this year. Monday Night Football. Both him and Peyton were commentating on the Monday night games.
And he's so boring, isn't he?
Oh yeah, they're just like, and he threw the ball. And he got it's like, well, no, like, of course it's, because that's coming. You've seen it. Yeah. You were playing against these guys 5 years ago.
Well, I think every league is trying to catch up with the NBA's TNT with Shaq and Charles. And it's like Shaq and Charles are just, I don't know about you, but I watched just TNT highlights. Like the halftime, like when they talk between games. I don't watch basketball anymore. I watch just what Shaq and Charles Barkley have to say, because I think those guys are easily the most entertaining guys in sports. Like they're just so unique. It's just like
more than Stephen A.
Yeah, I think Stephen A is a bird, but
come on, you guys say that about him.
No, I remember just watching him talk about UFC, and he had no clue. It's just like it's okay to not have a clue, but he's telling Joe Rogan that he's wrong.
Right, if you don't know, that's what I said to you earlier this week when he was talking about the Buffalo Bills game, right? He's like, 13 seconds and you can't play defense, blah, blah, blah. Like, he got so high-pitched about it and so, adamant about it. But I'm like, but you never played football. You don't really watch it. You're only going off of highlights.
Okay, I'll take that back. The most boring is Jalen Rose's wife and Shannon Sharp. Those are the worst ones. Shannon Sharp's absolutely worst.
No. If we're gonna go, are we talking commentators?
Yeah. Just guys like us.
Like broadcasting. I'm sorry, but I gotta say the most boring person who I've ever watched call a game is Chris Collinsworth.
Yeah.
Like when they were doing those odd Sunday night and Monday night, like after Al Michaels and John Madden stopped doing that, and they were trying to see who were with, I fell asleep literally every game just listening because it's like he had the ball.
I just told you TNT was my favorite, right? Because I think Shaq, Charles, and Ernie and EJ, they're crazy.
You have to have youth in there. Something our age we can relate to.
So they decided to take this to hockey, and they put Wayne Gretzky in there.
Oh God!
And Wayne Gretzky is just like the most monotone. Like he just has one voice.
There's no excitement. There's no.
Yeah. And it's just like, dude, okay, Wayne Gretzky's the greatest hockey player ever. Okay, next. But is he entertaining? Is he a funny guy? Is he is he amusing? It's like, no, go back. Like, no,
he doesn't have any personality, right?
Yeah, it's like he wasn't a good coach for a reason,
No, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, dude,
he just stared like he was a robot.
Dude, that's why like I think they should get a guy like Patrick Waugh for hockey to commentate. Like, not to commentate, to be like Shaq and Charles, where they're talking about the game at halftime Imagine Patrick Waugh. That guy is so out to lunch. I think he'd be funny as hell because I think he's just so disrespectful, kind of. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. And you know, when he coached and everything,
Yeah,
Patrick
remember
Waugh, he was great to do it.
Yeah, and remember what he told his son? He gave him the nod, like, go fight that guy.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like he's not gonna be a guy like he's not gonna be a Gretzky and just like you said, be a monotone and be like, oh,
yeah,
okay, that's it.
Yeah, he's and when Gretzky's telling stories, it's like, you know, you're like, oh shit, you're still talking.
Yeah, like, Grandpa is on his stories again.
Yeah, and he's like, he says to the guy, and that guy says to the guy, and this guy says to the guy, and you're just like, God damn, Gretzky, go to sleep, buddy.
Yeah.
So let's move on from the Rams and 49ers. We'll go to maybe one of your icons in your football life, Coach Payton. I know this guy. So this guy, I just found this out, man, and this is why I put him up, not because he retired this year. I didn't know that. Right. So I just knew it because I did some research on him yesterday because I heard something. I was like, what the hell? Who's this Coach Payton guy? Yeah. And it's like, whoa. And so he put hits out on players, and he got actually caught doing that. And I'm like, man, Bounty this guy. Yeah. And I was like, Bounty guy. I'm like, this guy is my favorite coach of all time. I'm like, because I always said that. I always said, like, why don't you get lesser known players to go injure players and just give them like 5 years salary? I'm like, just go injure. Yeah. And I'm like, damn, what a gangster. And I'm like, I like Coach Payton. I'm like, I thought Coach Payton was the man. Because then I was looking for documentaries, and the guy Kevin James from the Kings of Queens, the TV show, he plays him in a movie called Coach Payton. Yeah. And so I watched this, and it's kind of I don't know if it's real or not, but he had to take a leave from the league, the NFL.
And they suspended him for a year.
Yeah. So he coached the minor league team, and they won. They lost.
Yeah, he was still coaching. He just coached, like junior, Pee Wee
league.
True story? What's that?
That's a true story?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. I didn't know that. Then he came, because I'm like, wait a minute. But he's still, because then I Googled his name, and I'm like, he just retired this year. What the hell is this movie talking about? And then, damn, that's a why. So then they hired him back. Why'd they hire him back? Why'd they hire him back if he got, I guess, because he only had to leave a suspension and he didn't.
Right, exactly. I mean, he it's like the players, right? When they get suspended for a year, and for whatever drugs or whatever, or beating up your girlfriend, whatever, they get a shot again at it, right? So why can't a coach get a shot again?
So speaking of that guy, do you think that he goes under the radar for his greatness?
No, because a lot of people, he coached 15 years. He got the Saints to Super Bowl after Hurricane Katrina. And, say what you will about Bountygate and everything like that. Like, absolutely it's a black eye and everything like that. But you can't take away that he put together one of the most complete teams for, 5, 6, 7 years. And the best thing I like about him is that when he won the Super Bowl, he beat the friggin' Indianapolis Colts and Peyton Manning. And Mike, I know you're watching, and I'm going to rub that in your face.
Yeah, and because in the beginning of the movie, Peyton Manning is sitting there watching him, and then he actually, I guess Peyton Manning's a good sport because he's in the movie.
Oh yeah,
and it's like, and I guess he likes Coach Peyton. Because maybe
he still had respect. Like a lot of people lost some degree of respect for doing something like that. But like I said, you can't take away for what he did for the game.
Dude, I just think it's hardcore. I think
everyone makes a mistake. Like look at Tom Brady. He got caught deflating balls and stuff like that. Do you look at Tom Brady any lesser of a player or a
dude?
Person
I think Tom Brady has more blemishes than just Deflategate.
That's what I mean. They had the Spygate with.
Yeah, he cheated a few times. This guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you look at him any less of a person?
And you know what? You want me to tell you why I respect those kind of things? Because when you're a champion and a winner, you win by any means necessary. You don't.
Yep. And a lot of people, and my dad, he's old. Like my dad's coming up on almost 80, let's say, give or take. Don't want to push him, further than he is. But like he's the old, like were like 1950 before Super Bowls were actual Super Bowls, right? Like he's been around for every Super Bowl. And then I got my brother-in-law, the KC fan, and he's told my dad that many times because they have that debate all the time, are you cheating? Do you look at a championship any less? And my brother-in-law always says, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Every team is cheating in some aspect.
Dude,
doesn't matter what sport.
That's why when we get into Cooperstown, this kind of plays into that a little bit. But we're gonna not go there yet. But I also think that to win is to cheat and to be lucky. If you're not, like your brother-in-law or whoever it was said, I said, if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
No, exactly.
You gotta bend
Everybody's
rules,
doing it now.
Yeah. Oh no, dude, you gotta bend rules, man. You gotta bend rules, man.
There's no playing. It's not the 1950s, 1940s, 1960s where that you played by, respect and gentlemen and all that nonsense anymore. Everybody cheats now. It's just you don't get caught.
I think getting into people's head, saying the worst thing possible to your opponent is part of the game. That's why when his mother was dying and the guy said, "Oh, fuck your dead mother" or whatever, and so she's dying in the hospital during that game, and he headbutted him. But that's the type of thing that you say to your opponent. You say that
right in their head, And what happened? He got thrown out of the game.
Yeah, it's like that's why it's like the racism thing is touchy, but it's like at the same time, it's like it's a sport. I don't think any of them mean this with malice behind it. I think
nobody actually means that. He didn't mean it like he's like, I hope your mother dies, and I mean that. He just said it because he knew what can I say to get under his skin to make him get a card and thrown out of his. And look what happened after he did that. That France team was garbage.
Yeah, and it's like, should they be condemned? I guess if you get caught.
Well, he was for a degree, right? He got condemned for the headache or for headbutting. It was the wrong player getting condemned.
Yeah,
he got condemned for who did the worst thing for saying that or for headbutting?
I think what happens is they should keep the mics off the field, and what happens on the field, they should just get rid of that.
Yeah, if you want to hear the coaches talk and all that kind of stuff, go for it. But yeah, for sure, because you're still got kids watching it too, right? Like you don't want Billy, hearing some player on hockey say, we'll go kick that guy in the head because he's black, right?
Yeah, what I'm saying is like, just leave that stuff on the field because that's what they do. They leave everything on the field.
That's what I mean. You don't need players. Why do you need to hear it?
It's well documented now that players go out for beers on the opposing team with each other after the game, after they just did all this stuff. Yeah, so it's like it's just like that. That's sportsmanship. That's the beauty of sports where you can do that. You can be enemies, the biggest enemies, and then go share a hooker at the end of the game. You know what I mean? Or go lick another guy's face like Brad Marchand. Who knows what they do? I don't know. But moving on to the next one, we'll go to the Super Bowl halftime. Yeah. What do you think about this halftime show?
Being I grew up at that time, like with that era of music, I love it. I love it. I think it's going to be a great halftime show. My only question for the league is, how did you pull this off when you had the whole ordeal with the Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake, ordeal? Now you pull off, for the biggest vulgar people out there.
Yeah,
you're going to have a massive Super Bowl viewing, and you can't tell me that not one of those people are going to say something.
Yo, and I'll tell you this: Eminem came out with a commercial for it to promote it.
Yep.
And Eminem was on this word screen, and so he was Eminem and he was Slim Shady battling each other with words, throwing words at each other like a superhero. So that to me that means Slim Shady is going to come back.
Exactly. That's so
I don't know if that's nice for the league.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, if he pulls off that persona, again, he gets enough slack. Like they just wanted to ban one of his songs from 20 years ago because it's talking about murdering his girlfriend.
Yeah,
but you're having him on now on this platform.
And the NFL is the most sensitive league about things too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's crazy.
It's because of the amount of sponsorships into it, right? Like
Yeah.
you have
Dude.
Pepsi. But like, look at last year. Compare that to last. I don't know if it's due to the fact of last year. Like last year's Super Bowl was the weekend, right? Unless you were Canadian, you probably didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
Like everybody, all I saw were the comments from like most of the Americans watching it was, "Why are there people on the field with a diaper on their face?"
Yeah. But it's like this. It's like this. The weekend's like now the biggest, like one of the biggest.
Well, that's the
acts
thing,
now.
and he was huge at the time because he was doing that blinding lights song, right? Like that was his thing. And
But I think that kind of music is wrong for sports.
yeah,
Like
absolutely.
Justin Timberlake, Michael Jackson.
That's why you know it's a rock rap kind of sport. I don't like when what was it? They had Katy Perry one year. Like, why do you have Katy Perry doing it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like this year. I feel like finally they got it right.
Yeah,
finally they picked the band where it's like. And when I went to the Super Bowl in 2009, I was Pittsburgh against Arizona in Tampa Bay, Raymond James Stadium. Bruce Springsteen was the halftime show.
Right.
So that's okay too because it's like American, you know.
Well, that's what I mean, right? Like it's that rock, kind of era, you know. So, like I said,
but this one feels like it's the right people finally, but maybe 10 years too late.
Well, that too, yeah. This would have been great if we got them when they were all, Kendrick Lamar wouldn't have been, around or whatever. But Mary J and Eminem and Dre and all that, when they 10 years ago, when they were, like you said, Slim Shady, and coming out onto the scene, absolutely, that was a thing. But think about it, 10 years ago, before all this censorship came out, you imagine what they'd be putting on that show in 2 weeks?
Oh, dude, they'd have to have mimes up there.
That'd be like almost an X-rated Super Bowl show.
They'd have to have mimes up there singing this song instead of Eminem.
Had the kids going, "Mom, what they saying?"
Yeah. He's like, don't listen to him.
Go to bed.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on to the NHL. A different sport, different day. Not different day though. But dream NHL trade for your team.
Dream NHL trade for my team. Any player currently, right?
Yeah, any player currently, yeah. Who'd you want? Like, and it doesn't matter. It's not like this. It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy thing. So
right,
it's
a fantasy.
Worst player.
You know what? We don't have a center, so I'm gonna take Connor McDavid.
Connor McDavid.
I'd take him. I'd take him in Dallas. I would buy a McDavid jersey in that black and neon green. Absolutely.
Me, I'd probably take. I'd probably pinch Finks fucking players. I'd pick Mikko Rantanen or Kale McCarr for our defense. I think defense. I think if we had a couple of defenders or Victor Hedman actually. If we had Victor Hedman, I think our team would go much further.
But yeah, that seems to be your downfall. You have not, for quite some time, had a quality defenseman.
Yeah, but your player McDavid. Imagine McDavid on the Stars.
Well, that's what I mean. With Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, Alexander Radulov. Yeah,
it'd actually be good. Like we're talking this too. We're saying without trading your better players for him. So
that's what I mean. If you can just have him, right?
Yeah, and imagine that though. Like McDavid, that would be the obvious choice for everybody. But with the Leafs, I just don't think he's not fit. But it's like we have who's going to
have too many centers and forwards.
Yeah. We have Tavares and we have Matthews. So one of those and McDavid. So one of those guys would have to be third line.
That's what I mean. It's hard. That's why when you asked, what would be the best Canadian team for him to go to? That's why I was looking at teams. I'm like you said, Ottawa. You have Josh Norris and Timmy Stützle there. Yeah. I'm like, you're going to drop one of those to the third line to put Connor McDavid in there? Because obviously McDavid's going to be your first line center, if not second.
On every team almost, yeah.
Yeah, so like you said, if you're loaded into forwards and centers, you've got to drop somebody to a third line. Like, let's say Colorado, right? Like, are you going to put Nathan McKinnon on a third line?
You think Connor McDavid, if he went to the Leafs and you had Tavares, Matthews, I don't think he'd be the top centerman there. I think one of those guys would have to move.
like out to the winger.
Yeah, because I think Matthews, I think Matthews is a better center than all of them. That's what I think. And his stats,
Yeah,
like,
you'd be moving probably Tavares down to third line, or
yeah, I think Tavares would be the odd man out because I think Tavares is injury prone. And all
yeah,
that
you've
stuff.
got a. If you're looking at it health wise, yeah, then your three are McDavid, Matthews,
Tavares. Yeah.
Tavares. Yeah,
And it still wouldn't be fair for
no,
Tavares.
no,
It's
injury prone or not, you can't make sense of you're paying this much for a third line center, right? And it being Jonathan and Tavares.
Yeah, one of them would have to learn how to play wing quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. But I think McDavid would easily fit the wing because he's an assist machine. He's a playmaker. So I think
Well, yeah, look, it was the same with Mitch Marner, right? Like he's a setup man.
Yeah, and imagine if he went to the wing, I'd take him in Toronto, but I don't know how much stance he has on his position there, or like how much pride he has. Like, is he the guy that's like, oh yeah, I'm willing to move positions, to succeed? I don't know if he is, but
Right.
I don't know. I'd go Victor Hedman. That's my choice. We already have enough guns up front. But I mean, hey, then again, McDavid doesn't hurt any team.
No, exactly, right? Like that's the thing is.
But I'm looking out for the best of the team.
Well, yeah, if you look at the team overall, yeah, no, you can't go wrong with Victor Hedman at all. No, like you said, or if you took Cal McCarr either, right? Like you can't go wrong with either of those two picks.
No. Or like another winger, like a right wing, like
Make a Mikko Rantanen, or like you said,
Yeah, I'd go with Ovechkin, but I just don't think. I think then again, it's like Ovechkin, Matthews, Tavares, and even if we got McDavid, there's too many cooks in the kitchen there. It's like they all want to be the guy, and especially Ovechkin. Ovechkin comes to the team, he's the man. McDavid comes to the team, he's the man. And how do the other guys feel?
Right, exactly. And that's the thing is, you got to look at team chemistry too, right? Like when Tavares came to Toronto originally, I was really expecting that team to kind of have an internal issue with,
especially when they made him captain right away.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
I was like, what the hell do you mean he's captain?
Just came from him as a captain, and what? Because he was the captain there, he gets to be in Toronto off the bat.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, do you guys not remember we have Matthews? He's like the best player on the team.
He just kept saying, he's not ready. He's not ready. He's not ready. Like, then why draft him?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's crazy, man. That's the Leafs don't make sense. But hey, we're gonna move on to this guy, Connor Bedard. What do you think about him? Do you think he's gonna be a bust? Do you think he's obviously going first overall?
Connor Bedard overall. He's good.
He's clearly going first.
He's going to be first. Like there's the last couple of drafts, it was like last year, right? Like with Owen Power, there has not been. Well, go further back. Like what was the last draft class we had where there was a for sure number one draft pick, but it wasn't because he was the only one there. Like it was back when it was Eichel's class, wasn't it?
Yeah, Eichel, McDavid,
That's when
Matthews was first overall, no?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like those draft classes, those were you couldn't go wrong at one, you couldn't go wrong at number two. But like I said, like last year with Owen Power, and Lafreniere, and then like you said, next year with Bernard Dard. After you take it, there's really no for sure number two. And that being said, is Bedard even really that true number one pick? Is he going to be a good player? I think he'll be good.
I think it's a weak class. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's the last couple of years have been extremely weak talent wise, and even there hasn't even been like European talent that has come out that's been like you haven't been getting the Ovechkins or the Bures or the the Malkins and all that. You're not getting the talent there, and
dude, like look at Lafreniere. I don't even hear much of this guy.
No, you don't. He came on strong last.
He plays on a stacked ass team in the New York Rangers.
Yeah,
So it's like I don't know. Yeah, like Panarin. Panarin is like a good player. He goes under the radar a lot. I think that guy's pretty good. But
Well, the thing is too is who wins that lottery pick too, right? Like who, like if it ends up being like Buffalo or friggin' Edmonton or something like that, like that seems to be like the last 2-3 years is who's always picking first is
dude,
Buffalo.
Edmonton wins again. That's bullshit, man. They had like how many players did they have?
But think about that. If Edmonton were to somehow get that first pick, do you take him?
I think they'll take him no matter what because they
But then you have a whole friggin' what's his face, not Taylor Hall or Nugent Hopkins, the other one that had the freak out and got traded away.
That Russian dude.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is why do that all over again? Like why, like if you don't trade that pick again, do you really? Yes, he's going to probably be the best player, but really, do you need him?
Like you said, he's the only guy, and maybe you trade him for somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, be like, okay, we'll take him just so he's not, he's not there.
Yeah,
we'll work something out later on.
Buffalo, if he goes to Buffalo, it's another Eichel on our hands. I don't think he wants to go to a team like that.
No, and that's why I go, Dylan Cousin right now, he's doing the right thing, keeping his mouth shut and, just playing. Yeah, it's a shitty city to be playing in right now, but you know what? He's handling it, I think, the best he can handle it.
It's not the Hasek days anymore.
No, it's not. Or even Patrick Waugh days of I'm not happy. I'm done playing for you. I'm leaving.
Yeah. But moving on from Connor Bedard, I think Evander Kane. So Evander Kane went through a whole bunch of allegations of assault, but he got cleared from them because I think it was false. So just like we were talking about with Mason Greenwood, but I think Mason Greenwood's is real.
Yeah. Yeah, he went through the assault, and I think the bigger thing was his gambling issues too, right? Like the guy was doing inside betting, whatever you want to call it, and betting on own games, other games, so forth, blah blah blah.
I think this guy is. I think the Edmonton Oilers did brilliantly to take him, and I say that because I think this guy is a stud on the ice. I don't care what his off. It's like Antonio Brown, kind of. It's like, sure, he does some shit, but this guy's good,
Yeah. Well,
and it's like,
his first game last night, and he scores the first goal, like
and an assist, I think.
He had a 2-point night in his first game after not playing at all, pretty much all season.
Think about that: Draisaitl, McDavid, and Vander Kane. And Vander Kane, I think, was the best player on the Sharks.
Yep.
Like and he was like the leading goal scorer and everything. So it's like you just got this guy for nothing,
right?
You know what I mean? And I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, this is a game changer maybe for them. And it's like they could. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs this year. Maybe.
Yeah, it's going to be a push for them.
Yeah, but it's going to help them. I don't think.
Oh, absolutely, for sure.
A lot of people are like, I wouldn't take Evander Kane. It's going to ruin the chemistry. No, I think Evander Kane's like, I get to play with McDavid now.
Right, exactly. You go from one, not that the Sharks were one of the worst teams, but it's just a huge step talent-wise to be playing with now, right? As opposed to really one being there in San Jose to now going to Edmonton, and
playing with,
like you said, I'm going to play with Connor McDavid.
Yeah, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. You're like, okay, now I gotta be good,
It's like you said, the Antonio Brown thing. He went from playing without Tom Brady, I get to play with Tom friggin' Brady.
Yeah, but he ruined it. It's like I think this kid, he's just immature and he's just trying to. I think for sure, obviously, he gathered a lot of debt from gambling, and so that's why he had to do insider trading stuff.
Yeah,
and so I think maybe he's smarting up from that because I think he's out of California too, which is easy.
Gambling capital, pretty much of the world, right?
Yeah, so it's easy to get a couple extracurricular activities,
Like imagine if he got traded or played for the LA Kings, right?
Imagine if he went to the Golden Knights
or Vegas Golden Knights, yeah. Right?
Imagine that. It's like
where's Evander? He's playing the slots.
Yeah, it's like, dude. I think him going out west to Edmonton. I think we're staying out west.
For now, at least, yeah, it's going to be good for him.
I think it's good for him. I think I think it'll be good for him. I think they'll succeed with him, and I think he's a good experiment for them.
Right,
And,
exactly.
I think it'll work out, but I don't know. So there's a funny one here. Arizona Coyotes moving to the stadium with 5,000 capacity. So that's like Hamilton Bulldogs, kind of less than Hamilton Bulldogs Stadium. You know, it's like that's a minor league team, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, so this guy, so Brad Marchand came out and said this. He said, "Well, they'd have to give 4,950 tickets away to even have a sold out stadium." Like, do you think that's kind of true, right? Like, who's watching the Arizona? Who's their captain?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a shot at them. You know, it's one of those. You know, I'm making that comment, and I don't care. You know, who it upsets or who's hurt by it. Like you said, it's kind of get in their heads and everything like that. Basically, you're the orphan of the league. No one likes you. No one loves you.
So do you think it's time for them to just pack up their bags and move to Quebec Nordiques? Like that's the talk that's going on. I think that me personally.
No, because you know why? Because Gary Bettman won't admit he made a mistake by putting a team in Arizona.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I mean. I think this guy should man up and make a best decision of his life. But I think either Hamilton, Ontario deserves a freaking hockey team. And I'm not saying that because I'm from Hamilton. I'm saying that because Hamilton loves sports, man. Loves sports, you know? It's like the Ticats are packed. Like naming like another CFL team. Every game is packed for CFL.
Right.
Sold out. And it's like, look at the Canada game today. Sold out in 3 minutes. Yeah. You know, if they had an NHL team, and I understand what the argument is with this, Toronto will lose their market a lot because the tickets will be cheaper in Hamilton, and Buffalo, no one will go to Buffalo because everybody that goes to Buffalo games are from Hamilton probably. So
exactly. That's always been the argument is Buffalo and even Ottawa. Buffalo, Ottawa, and Toronto all get hit. Yeah,
so I would pick Quebec Nordiques as the easy team to go to because I think it'll be a success.
See, you know, if it's not Hamilton, and I don't think Hamilton will ever get an NHL team because that will always be the argument.
Yeah, Toronto. It doesn't matter about Buffalo. Let's get that out of the way. But Toronto, no one's taking the market away from Toronto.
No, and I keep hearing. I've heard many times Toronto is thinking of getting a second team. Like it might be Vaughan or Newmarket or Mississauga or whatever.
Dude,
you know,
if they get a second team, put it in Hamilton.
What people are going to argue is they're going to say, you know, the Leafs are complaining they're going to lose money, but you're going to put a team right in the same area or closer.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's wild.
And
man.
You know what? That's the thing is, you know, as far as where would you move Arizona if they were to go into Canada? I don't think it's even going to be Quebec. I think it's going to be out in St. John's, like Halifax. Like I think that's where they're looking, more out that way.
It'd be okay, but I just don't think there's enough people to fill stadiums out there.
Like, no, there probably isn't. You know, and depending on the weather.
Especially if they had a bad team. Yeah, if they had a bad team. Yeah. But let's just say this: how did the Columbus Blue Jackets, which I don't know if anybody's ever been to Columbus, but Columbus is a hockey town actually. Like they're a big hockey town. People went to the games all the time, and they even up until they had to move cities. So they lost their team before Arizona, which nobody goes to for years.
Yeah,
and it's like to me, it's like I guess you're right with that. It's like how does a team like Columbus in a hockey town lose their team before a team like Arizona, which is in the desert? I think you're right because it's a Gary Bettman experiment, and that's what it comes down to.
Right, exactly. And you know, he just will not say, hey, I made the mistake. It was like the Nashville Predators, right? Like when we thought we were going to get Nashville, right? With Gary, what's his name? Jim Basile.
That BBM guy, Blackberry Messenger.
Yeah, exactly, right? When we thought we got them, how fast did we, like when they said basically, it's a done deal. How fast did Hamilton run out and buy season tickets? Like, people were lining up down the street. They were dropping $5,000 right off the bat. I'm getting an NHL season tickets.
Dude, I did that. I went there.
And that's what I'm saying, right?
And it's crazy.
And Gary Bettman wouldn't go, oh hey, Hamilton is a hockey town or is the place, then it was every excuse, oh hey, the league's got to view this, or the stadium, the arena isn't NHL ready.
I remember seeing so when they brought that up, and there's this thing that Gary Bettman put up, well, we have to see if they can sell tickets first. Boom, they sold the tickets right away. Then they're like, oh well, they don't have the stadium. Boom, they showed the whole new Cops Coliseum with the glass and everything. And it's like, so now what? Now what's your excuse? Oh no, it's Toronto's there. And it's like, why wouldn't you say that from the beginning?
Yeah, why would you say it was based off the other things?
Yeah. And it's like, because we rose to the occasion. They're like, oh, not enough tickets. Well, put the tickets on sale. Let's see what happens, And boom, sold out in a minute.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it was, if I'm right, the new arena was going to go up right by Lime Ridge Mall on the mountain, right? Like it was going to be a massive, like huge arena.
Dude, no, they were going to rebuild Cops Coliseum with.
Is that what it was? Okay, then it was either Wyndham. Yeah, I know there was one that they were gonna put it right by Lime Ridge Mall just to make it a massive.
They had the whole Jim Basile plan to build a whole new stadium downtown, get rid of Jackson Square, almost basically it was crazy.
More hotels and everything. Yeah.
And they're gonna put casinos and everything to kind of build up the city a little bit, and it was crazy. And I think casinos are not good for a city, but that's just me.
That's why we lost our strip clubs.
Yeah. But so let's move on. Dallas Stars. How is their week in hockey?
Overall, not too bad. I think we played four games this past week, and we won 3 of them at least. And then last night we lost to Washington 5-0. But overall, we're I'm pretty sure we're still hanging into that 8th playoff spot right now. So.
Yeah, so that's all right.
It was a good week for us. I'd say, we're still hanging there. It's not like we didn't win a game at all, and now we're, going to be sellers at the deadline. So
it's like steady as she goes, kind of.
Yeah. We'll see. Like I said, we're going up into February now. Ask me at the end of February where we are at that time.
Obviously, as a fan, you hope you buy.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm hoping we do something. I know, like what you said, John Klingberg, he's going to be gone somewhere, so I don't mind seeing him go. But yeah, if we lose him, I'd like to see us bring something back in return. Even if it's a rental player for 2 months, I still, for the excitement, I like to see somebody come back. Yeah.
So you guys probably need a goalie too, eh?
Yeah, because I keep hearing that we're also looking at shipping out a goalie to you guys, to Toronto. I keep hearing that Brandon Holtby is possibly going your way, or Antoine Kubinin could be going to Toronto because you guys want to get rid of Peter Mrazek or whatever. Yeah, dude, and they're saying that Dallas and Toronto could just go do us 1-for-1. You'll give us Mrazek and we'll give you Holtby or Kubinin.
See, that's where with Peter Mrazek, I think he's a good goalie. I just think Toronto's too big of a market for him because it's like.
Well, they're also saying because who was it? Who's your kid? GM Sheldon or not Sheldon? Kyle Dubois or whatever. Yeah, they were saying that they didn't know if what last year was just a one-hit wonder. They didn't know if Campbell would manage a full slate, right? And he has managed it. They were saying that. Even with the postponed games pretty much being made up in February, they're saying Mrazek won't see the net again now until the 21st of February. Campbell can play back-to-backs, then he gets a day's rest. He can play a game, and then he can be, playing the next 10 games.
Yesterday. So yesterday the Leafs played. I forget who they played. Jesus. Anyways, they're losing 4-2. And they came back and won 7-4. And
Detroit,
and Detroit's not good. Dylan Larkin's good, but Detroit's not that good team, right? And so we're watching, and my girlfriend's like, uh-oh. She's like, this is not good for Toronto. She doesn't know anything about hockey, but she's like, she's still throwing in the jabs. You know what I mean?
This is not anything but uh-oh.
She's like this. She's like, uh-oh, this isn't good, is it? This is not good. Toronto's not good. She's like, she pets my head. She's like, why isn't Toronto good? And I'm like, hey.
This is why Joe drinks.
It's like, hey, I'm a fan of Arsenal, Toronto, and the Raptors. That's why I drink.
There you go, right? There's no.
And I was like, I tried to explain to her, I'm like, well, if they win this game, they still have a chance to become first. And I'm like, they're good. They're gonna be third place. And she's like, yeah, but it's still not that good, is it? If they're losing 4-1. I'm like, damn. And I'm like, okay. And then so I turned off the game because I got frustrated because they were losing 4-1. I know they came back. They had 4-2. I turned it off, and in the last period, they score all their goals, 5 goals. I'm like, holy! And I because I get the update on my phone. Toronto, I see 7-4. I'm like, oh man, they got killed. And then, and then I'm like, they won. What do you mean they won? I'm like, Toronto won. I'm like, Jesus. And that's the thing with Toronto, man. It's like remember how we were just talking about how great Matthews is. I was like, well, Matthews is the greatest, and now how overrated Marner was. Well, Marner's been scoring all the goals. I get it that he's a season player. He's not the playoff player, but it's like he's been scoring. Where's Matthews now? It's like why can't they both play?
Yeah, it's not like Tampa Bay, right, where you have Brady Points, Stamkos, and
they're all playing,
contributing.
Yeah, and it's like if one's not contributing, the other one is. It's like they never coincide with each other. It's like it's frustrating to be a Leafs fan. It's like this is the best team I ever had to watch as a Leaf fan. The best team. Yeah. Like we have all these players. It's like that year with when we got Spezza, Thornton. I was like, oh damn, this is the year we're putting everything in. I'm like, if we don't win this year, we're never gonna win, and we didn't win.
You haven't won yet.
But like as an outsider looking in, as much as that, wouldn't you agree? Looking at that year, wouldn't you be like, oh damn, they have a good chance of winning now,
Well, yeah, and, you would think that, like you would think that, given look at it, the team on paper, absolutely. Like you said, you name the players like Tavares, Spezza, Marner, Matthews. Just look at the team. Like even your defense is not the greatest, but it's serviceable. And then you got Campbell and Mrazek in net.
Yeah, we had Hyman. We had a bunch of players that are like good, and it's just like, and we had like Freddie Anderson was one of the better goalies in the league. Albeit, I don't like Freddie Anderson, but when he was on the team for like 3-year period, he was like the best goalie in the league. But
yeah, exactly. and that's the thing. I mean, the only thing that is working for you right now is that the Eastern Conference is so weak. Yeah, you guys really don't have to worry about a playoff spot. It's not like what is it? I was just looking at it here. Yeah. 8th place is Boston with 53 points, and then Detroit's in 9th at 44.
Yeah.
So, but then when you go to the
playoffs,
that's what I'm saying. So you guys can struggle. It's not the greatest thing to be doing is struggling, but
I mean, the difference is when you make the playoffs in the East, I think it's harder.
Because you guys like to just beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, that's it. And
every team matchup, everyone just wants to run around and hit each other.
Yeah, that's it. And the last couple of years, I think the winners have came out of the East, right?
Yeah, the last couple of years. Besides, what was it? Wasn't Vegas? St. Louis won 1 year, but for the most part, it's been Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay won it last year, right?
St. Louis is in the East. Damn, I thought they were.
No, they used to be, but no. But look, like I said, Detroit is 9th and you at 44, but then you go over to the West, right? And I'm looking where my Stars are right now. We're in 11th with 46 points, but we're 2 points behind Calgary, who's at 8 with 48.
Yeah.
It's a huge difference between the two conferences because like I said, Calgary's got 48 and they're in 8th place.
And the thing with the West, I always thought that they always had like the better regular season teams, but when it comes playoffs, they're big guns like Colorado, the Sharks. They weren't nothing to worry about for it.
Well, that's what I mean. Like you from Calgary at 8th down to Winnipeg at 13th. It's a 5-point difference. Yeah. But they're all teams that nobody's going to be scared of. Like it's Edmonton, San Jose, Winnipeg, like teams Vancouver, who are going to, if they make it in, are you really going to be that worried about them?
I don't think so. Yeah,
It's not like, oh shit, Tampa Bay's in or Boston or Washington, or I have to face them, right?
yeah,
Like
like Boston.
I'd rather play like in Edmonton or Vancouver before having to play in Tampa Bay
Boston. Yeah, or Boston. Yeah, you don't
or
want to.
even Boston. Throw Boston in there.
Yeah, like Boston is like that's our our boogeyman for a Leaf fan.
3-1.
Yeah.
3-1.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to play Boston, yeah. So moving on, we'll go to Henry.
You also said that last year, and you were happy not to get Boston.
Oh, dude. Well, I was like this. Oh, we got Montreal. Yeah, bring it on. And then
we're up 3-1.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is easy. Yeah. And you know what did it? There's one play in the game. In that when it was the fifth game, it was like, oh, this is the turning point of the whole series. When they let that kid score and stuff, I was like, oh, this is
Suzuki or whatever.
Yeah, and I was like, this is the turning point that we lost now, and that's how I felt.
Honestly, I think the turning point in that whole game or that series was when you lost to Tavares.
No, Tavares. No, I don't think so. I don't think he does anything in the playoffs for us.
No, he doesn't do anything, but to just see him get pretty much, it was a dirty hit. I'll say it was.
And nobody sticks up for him.
No, that's the thing. I think that showed right there what Toronto thought of him.
Yeah, and what Toronto has in their locker room, it's like nobody is going to stick up for your captain. Not one person. I remember when somebody grabbed Tavares or Matthews by the face and pushed him down when they played Boston the year before that, and nobody did anything. It's like, oh, now they can just push us around and everybody knows it. But let's move on to Henrik Lundqvist. So he went to New York. Everybody knows, I think now, he had the open heart surgery, which was a success, and that was great, obviously, because he's a legend. They retired his number. Do you think that's unjust? Do you think that's deserved or what?
To have his jersey number retired?
Yeah.
Are
you with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoy seeing the players get their it was last night with Washington in the Washington-Dallas game. Sergei Zubov, they retired his number last night too.
Yeah. So Zubov and Lundqvist, they had big memorial nights.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I always enjoy seeing that kind of stuff. I think it definitely has a spot in sports. Not every sport does it, or you don't really see it in baseball. You don't really see it in basketball or even football. You don't really see it. You get the Ring of Honors and stuff like that, but to actually have your number retired,
yeah,
it's an honor for sure. I'd like you to know that no one will ever wear, number 30, number 56, whatever number you are.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. Like
soccer, you don't even see it.
No, soccer, you don't see it. No, anybody soccer used to be this. They used to play 1 to 11 in their numbers. So 1 would be goalie, 2 would be right back, and it's so on and so forth.
It's so forth, yeah.
And so all the numbers represented a position on the field. That's why they had 1 to 11. Now the people get picked their own numbers, but before it used to just 1 to 11 straight up and down. But Henrik Lundqvist, I think that guy's a legend. I think he is loyal to the team that maybe if he could have went somewhere else, he might have accomplished more things.
Yeah. Well, he did go to Washington, right, after New York, and then he had, like you said, the heart issue.
Yeah, but I think but that was in the twilight. That's kind of like a Sundin to Vancouver thing. Well, Sundin to Vancouver was more like, screw you, Toronto, because you guys treated me badly the whole time I was there, and so I'm gonna leave for nothing. That's what people are mad at Sundin for that, but it's like. I'm like, you guys don't realize how good of a person he was to stay in Toronto. He should have left years ago.
He stuck around for it.
Yeah.
It's the same with what was it in Vancouver, right? Marcus Naslund and the Sedin twins, right? They stuck around forever.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. There's something with the Swedish people that just have that, that loyalty, that pride or something. I don't even know. Even Forsberg. But Lundqvist retired, and congrats to him.
I enjoyed it. I think it's definitely well deserved. He was probably one of the best goalies out there in the last couple of years.
So, who's your top 10 NHL players in today's game?
Top 10.
Do you want to go of all time or today's game?
No, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. As of right now, like plan right now,
Right.
because you can be in an argument forever because everyone's going to have a, everyone's going to say, oh no, Gretzky's not up there, or whoever, pick a player, right?
Yeah.
If I had to pick the absolute player, like I'll start right off the bat with the very best right now. I know you're going to hate me for it, but I got to say Connor McDavid.
I'd say, well, you can't like that. That's like a opinion based, like for me.
That's what I mean, but that's what it's going to be.
No, for me to argue, like that guy clearly is one of the top 10. Like I can't argue that.
Yeah, he may not be like your number one, but yeah, definitely top 10. But for me,
I see the argument for him being number one for a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. And because you get into like for the rest of my list, you can get into the Nathan McKinnons, the Mikko Rantanens, they're all from Colorado, but Colorado is the team that's been producing the top players lately. Same with Tampa Bay. Stamkos still is producing.
See, mine's pretty basic. I think it's pretty easy. I think it's McDavid, Matthews, McKinnon, Ovechkin,
Crosby.
Rantanen. Crosby, I'll give Crosby.
You can't put Crosby still top 10.
I'll give Crosby a shout, even though he's not performing like a top 10. But hey, he's there.
Hey, he got more points tonight again.
I think that Hebedro, he's obviously up there. Leon Draisaitl, I think he's up. I think Leon Draisaitl is actually getting overshadowed by Connor McDavid.
Absolutely out there. They always mention the two of them for the playoff or MVPs and all that, and yeah, it always end up by this time they forgot about Leon, and it's always about McDavid.
And Victor Hedman, Dylan Larkin, and Cale Makar, and I think that's about it for me.
See, I just can't get on board with Cale Makar. I just can't. I don't know what it is, but I always was still, and it's not to get Mike all riled up and everything like that. But if I had my choice, and he even brought this up last week, like when he was watching the podcast, he brought up you would take Miro Heiskanen, like from Dallas, over Cale Makar in a heartbeat. I wouldn't think twice about it. I think Miro Heiskanen is the better defenseman.
Heiskanen's good. How about Hughes?
Oh, Quinn Hughes? I'd even put him before Makar.
Yeah.
Out of those three, I go.
How about PK?
No. I can't.
That's what we got.
No PK for me. Nope. Maybe back when he was actually producing and good, when he was a Hab.
Oh, PK was a stud. Remember that? When he was a Hab?
When he was a Hab, absolutely. And that team, with what was it? Was Brandon Gallagher, friggin' PK. Who's the other one that left? Galachuk. Yeah. That team was actually decent.
Yeah, I remember. I remember him being a Toronto Maple Leaf because he's from Toronto. He's a huge Leaf fan, and he wanted to go to Leafs, and Leaf passed on him.
Yep.
And I remember that. And I remember how upset I was about that. I was like, "Well, damn," but now it's not so bad of a move, but.
And there's a lot of people who are like that. They're like, I want to play, for my home team,
Yeah.
But, I grew up in Toronto, or I grew up in, Pickett City, whatever. It's my dream to play for them. And have your team say, like your home city say, no, we're not interested in you.
Aaron Rodgers, yeah. How about this? Okay, so let's move on to should goalies be fair game when they leave?
Absolutely. You leave the crease, you're fair game to get bowled over or whatever. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think behind the net, when they're getting between the lines, they shouldn't be. But if they go between, like there should be a crease behind the net, and
like if they come out to play the puck, like leave the crease to play the puck. Absolutely. Well,
they should be able to get labeled.
Well, remember, isn't that what happened with, it was like Cujo, right? Wasn't it? When he put the referee out, he came out of his crease and, he got tripped up and fell down and then he freaked out. But it's like, if you hadn't left that crease, you would have been totally fine.
Yeah. And I think they get a little too much leeway, especially with all that padding. I feel like goalies get injured way too easy.
Oh, absolutely. Like, you get bowled over by, I get it. If Zdeno Chara is coming bulldozes you over, I get that.
Yeah, don't go to your crease.
But, you get like, let's say, let's say someone like a Ty Domi size come charging at you. Are you really going to get hurt?
Yeah, I mean, Ty don't realize just have to fight you. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think we're both there. I think they should be, but with some rules to it. I don't think
Well,
it should
yeah,
just be.
absolutely. It's not like, oh, he's a free game. I can go up and slug him or run him over for the hell
Yeah,
of it.
like
Like if
from
you out there
behind.
playing the puck,
Yeah.
absolutely. But it's not. Oh, the goalie's out of the crease, and I'm going to go deck him more,
Yeah,
right?
you're still not allowed to like hit him from behind or blindside
You
him or
know,
anything like
hip
that.
check him and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I think they should definitely if they come out from behind the net, it's okay, or in front of the net, it's okay. But if they come out of those
They're
lines,
playing like the boards or anything, or like you said, behind
yeah,
the net. Yeah, then yeah, no, you're not running up behind a goalie and bulldozing him from behind, and you paralyze the guy.
yeah, you can't do that. Yeah. So moving on, let's see. So Blues, Justin Falk says he hates Canada. He can't wait to leave Canada because he had to go up and play in the West.
Yep.
And so Johnny Hockey, I think, came out and said that guy's a joke. He's like, and I think they ended up the Blues ended up losing, and I don't get that. Like hockey is a cold sport, and you play in the winter. I don't get why you'd hate that. I think this guy is a degenerate. I don't think he's a. I think he's an idiot. To say that you don't like playing anywhere, I don't care if it's in Madagascar. Why you get paid millions of dollars? You have no right to say you don't like playing somewhere because of the country. I just don't. I think that this guy's an idiot. That's all.
Well, I think what his biggest thing was like because he's like I don't like Canada, coming up here and everything like that, and his big thing was I don't like the way the country is being run right now. Leave the fucking politics out of it, regardless of what we're doing. Because I think his biggest thing is because of the COVID issues, right? Like, I think that's what he more so than anything. He doesn't like the way because we're not all just everything is like down in the States where everything is open. You want to go to a strip club, you go to a strip club. You want to go drink a beer in a restaurant, you can drink a beer in the restaurant. I mean, we're going like that tomorrow, right? But still, I think the guy's leave the politic aspect of it. Like, really, you're up here for what 3-4 days?
But the thing is, he could have said that instead of saying, "I hate playing in Canada."
Well, yeah, exactly, and he could have absolutely, but then it would have brought up the whole wild politics and blah blah blah, and why
he went there, yeah.
But the whole point of it is, what, just you're here for whether it's a 2-week stay or just for an overnight game, just shut your mouth and just play the game and leave after. Like, why do you have to say anything?
Yeah,
I'm sure there's plenty of those people on that Canadian team, whether it be Vancouver, Toronto, pick a Canadian city he goes to and says it. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of them that would go there and say, "Oh, I hate playing in the States."
I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't like going to Winnipeg, but they don't say it.
No, exactly. Like look at Tyler Bertuzzi, right? Like the only player in the NHL who's not vaccinated, so he can't come to Canada, but he's not out there running his mouth saying, "Oh, I hate Canada because I can't play in Canada games."
Dude's probably looking at it like it's a day off.
Yeah, he's just said, "No, I'm not going to play because I don't believe in getting vaccinated." And he left it at that, and no one cares. Like no one came out and said, "Oh, well, you're playing for Detroit. You fucking suck."
Yeah. So Ovechkin, my man Ovechkin. Yeah, he took a one-timer and he dented Robert Lehner's helmet. Yep. And Robin, he said that in his press conference, he said he thought he was in serious trouble because he everything cracked. And he's like, that was one of the hardest shots he ever faced. And I'm like, damn, because Ovechkin, he does have a hard release. Like he has that one timer that's like unstoppable, That's like his go-to move, Gretzky behind the net.
When you let him, just have these. What was it like? You were showing me before earlier this week. When we were chatting, like how are people still letting Ovechkin be wide open to exactly do that? Just wind up and let it go.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't make sense. It's like that's his spot. He's the best at it in history, not just of this game. In history of the NHL, he's the best at the hash marks and the one-timer. Like, and you're just gonna let him do that. Like, why wouldn't you just screw the other players on a power play? I'm going to guard Ovechkin, why don't they do that?
His shot, that shot, you know what it reminds me of? Remember Mighty Ducks? I think it was the first or second one, the knuckle puck. That's exactly what it reminds me of Ovechkin's blast. Like his one-timer, that's like everyone gets out of the way of it because they know that they try to block that.
It's
You're
done.
going to be hurting.
They're like, oh. Yeah. And it reminds me actually of Wendell Clark and Curtis Joseph too. Wendell Clark, and it's like because Wendell Clark had that powerhouse shot. Like in-game power is different from all-star game power competition shot. You know what I mean? In-game power shots a little bit. Like Ally Frady always won the in-game.
Yeah, Al McInnes won it all the time. Same with Zdeno Chara, right? For fastest slap shot.
Yeah, but like in-game, I think is like
it's totally different.
Do it consistently, like Ovechkin, and I remember Esa Tikkanen.
Yep.
Yeah, he put it through the net like a couple times. And
absolutely.
Those are like daily basis guys. So yeah, and Ally Frady, all those guys.
Yeah, because like you said, to do that when you have nobody, like when you do it in the All-Star competitions, right? You can just wind up and let it go.
Yeah, you take a run.
Ovechkin, you're getting the puck and you have somebody coming skating towards you. You got like half a second to let it go,
and you're still breaking people's helmets. Like
exactly cool. Right.
I like that kind of stuff, and I think it's good, especially with the goalie equipment now. It's so heavy duty, so it's pretty cool to see stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
scary as hell, bro. Imagine being a defenseman.
You just know that's what it did to a goalie's helmet, and that is a full cage helmet. Like imagine if a defenseman or forward's taking that off the noggin.
Yeah, just in the mouth. Ooh, damn, bye Brady. But we're gonna go to the Australian Open, and Rafael Nadal won, and he's now the all-time champion. But my question is, sure, he won, he's great, I get that. Do you think that there's a little
asterisk?
Yeah, because they kind of got rid of Djokovic, and a lot of players couldn't play because it was in Australia. And do you think Australia should just cancel it since they have so many rules
change and all that?
Yeah.
No, I don't to both of those questions because. Yes, he's still one of the best tennis players. He's not. He's still third or fourth in the world. Like he's still one of the best out there. So you didn't have number one there, but you still had number two there, and you had number three there, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was a whole bunch of like unranked or 17 seeds and 20 seeds and 30 seeds making it to the finals. Like if he had played like someone not ranked or in the 30th, then yeah, I could see your argument on that.
But in the women's division, an Australian won,
right?
And I think that's where the asterisk really comes into play because all the big names weren't in the women's competition,
right? Like the Williams' sisters and all that. Yeah, absolutely.
It was the first time an Australian won in like years.
Exactly. But as far as like you said, should it be postponed until Australia gets the changes its stance on it and everything. No, because then you know what? We got the French Open coming up, and they have pretty much the same stance as Australia. That's why they're saying they don't know if Djokovic is going to play in the French Open.
Yeah, I think that sport should just take a rest.
Well, that's what everyone did, right? Like when COVID first started, every sport canceled their season until they knew how to get this under control or what they were going to do.
I think it's ruining people's legacies because everybody will always have an asterisk around this one because Djokovic hands down, probably the best one right now.
It's like it's either like you said, either postpone these tournaments or don't have fans there because then it's just the players, and that's it.
Yeah, and that's it. And he can wear a fucking mask.
Yeah, exactly. You can wear your mask or whatever, or play by yourself because you're 6 feet or whatever away. But yeah.
So this is a big one actually. David Ortiz, Big Papi Ortiz, made it to Cooperstown, which is the Hall of Fame of baseball, over Roger Clemens and Barry Bad Boy Bonds. But my question is, do you think this is just so? Because Clemens and both Bonds are known cheaters. And do you think that it brings us back to what me and your brother think? Do you think that they were just the ones that got caught cheating? And do you think that's cheating, a corked bat? And I forget what Clemens was doing, maybe steroids or something.
Yeah, he was the steroid guy when they were all doing that with friggin' what's his face? I can't remember, but he was one of the bad boys as well.
I honestly
Mark Teixeira, I think it was.
Yeah, I think they should. And I think, and what's McGuire? I think they should all. I think they should all be in Cooperstown. I don't see how you can get rid of Clemens or Barry Bonds. I, like Clemens is okay. I'll say this: maybe Barry Bonds because his winning, but Clemens actually won and stuff. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I'm kind of torn between the two because I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, it's Roger Clemens, it's Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
No, well, not only did they not get in, but they're not eligible again. They'll never get in now. Like,
yeah, they're not. That's another
that
thing.
was their 10th year of eligibility. Like, so it's right. I think the 4 big names on there that are now done, unless they get in voted in when they're like seniors committees. It is Clemens, Bonds, Kurt Schilling, and Sammy Sosa. None of those 4 will ever get a chance to get in now.
And just to think about that, Bonds, Clemens, and Sosa.
Yep.
Like Sammy Sosa, man, I remember being young and I didn't even like baseball, and Sammy Sosa was the man.
Well, that's the thing, right? I remember I was not huge in baseball either at that time, but remember everyone was watching him and McGuire go home run for home run. They were watching that home run chase.
Yeah. And Bonds was right there with these guys. Like
exactly. So like you said, it's because do you not vote them in because Sammy Sosa got caught with the cork bat and Bonds and Clemens with the steroids? Like Bonds can sit there and say, I didn't know I got injected. You friggin' went up 10 hat sizes. Like, don't say you're melon girl, no problem.
Hey, dude, your head is huge now.
Don't sit there and say, I don't know how that happens.
No, but you think you like I like Barry Bonds because he never denied it, really.
Well, that's the thing, but they're going to go and base it off the fact of, I think, what it honestly.
Barry Bonds just said everybody's doing it.
Okay, but put it this way. Pete Rose.
Yeah, I met him.
But that's the thing. If Pete Rose can't get in, how can you put these ones in?
Yeah, but that's where I think it's wrong because I think Pete Rose should be in.
Absolutely.
And I think all these guys should be in. And I think for them to get rid of their eligibility, like Barry Bonds, he's the most home runs. Barry Bonds, like I hit baseballs like Barry. You know how many rappers have songs about Barry Bonds?
Yeah.
And it's like, and Roger Clemens, man, he was like a lifetime pitcher, not just a good pitcher.
The only one on like that is not now eligible that I don't care about making it, and it pains me to say because I'm a huge Cubs fan, is Sammy Sosa.
See, Sammy Sosa,
I'm not upset or happy regardless of what way it goes. Like if he got in, good for him. If he doesn't get in, good for him. I definitely put David Ortiz above him.
Yes, to me, I think Ortiz. Big Papi Ortiz. I think he deserves it, and I think Clemens and Bonds deserve it.
Exactly, and I'd even put in, friggin', I don't know if you remember it, Kurt Schilling, right, with the friggin' bloody sock, right?
Yeah.
To pitch that game and your ankle, your leg be that raw, that bloody, that screwed up, and you still pitch a game and you basically win a World Series, absolutely you should be in the World Series. If your sock's in there and you're not in the Hall of Fame, there's an issue.
Sammy Sosa won a World Series, no?
No.
Oh, so he was there. He was there just.
He was like there
before they won.
Yeah, he was there when they made. What's his face? That Scotty Bowman or not Scott Bowman? Not whatever his name was. Touch the ball. That's he was there with them on that.
I agree with you. I think out of all of those guys, Sammy Sosa is the odd man out. I think Clemens has a lot of accolades, and I think Barry Bonds as well. Even though
Bonds is your home run king, and Schilling's got the World Series, and David Ortiz has got what two rings.
And Clemens is Clemens. I think Clemens is Yankees, Jays.
I think the issue with Clemens, and even more so, is the take away the stars. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong here. You can correct me. Didn't he have some domestic issues too? Like, didn't he and his wife have like a couple of fights? I think that's more of what's holding him back than the drugs.
I think that's a roid rage coming through. He has that Mason Greenwood. Everybody has a little Mason Greenwood in them nowadays.
There you go. Yeah.
That's about all the topics I have there.
Yeah.
It's been a good show. We went pretty long actually again.
Yeah, we went another 2.5 hours this week.
Yeah, it did. And I was like this, it's only going to be an hour this week. But hey, man, once you get caught up in it, it's fun. I like doing it. Next week, I think we're going to have our third wheel back. I'm not sure. Mr. Fink, but I don't know. He's a hit and a miss kind of guy, you know. He's there and he's not. Who knows?
There you go. Really?
I hope he comes. If he doesn't, it's going to continue anyways, you know.
Absolutely.
So next week we'll have a nice little banger of a show, and I don't know. I'm gonna close it out with the old new intro. You know.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good.
See you later, everybody, and stay tuned.